Hello, everybody. Welcome to Frame Trap. I am your host, Brad Ellis. I'm joined by Michael Huber.
Yo.
And Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Filling in for my co-host, Michael Damiani, who is out at the moment. Mm-hmm. A lot of work today, so he's giving the day off. But yeah, welcome to Frame Trap, this podcast where we discuss all of our impressions on gaming. Lots of good games we're going to be talking about. Some controversial games. Some good stuff. And we'll be hearing from all of you out there. But if you, throughout the episode, we'll be hearing from you guys out there. And if you want to submit anything for the show, all you got to do is join our Patreon, patreon.com/CZAllies. Just be in the $5 tier, and you could submit your responses whenever I put up the post. It's a good time. All that good stuff.
Less than a gallon of gas in California.
Less than a gallon of gas. Yeah.
True.
I feel like in high school, I could fill up my car for $20.
Yeah, it was like two something a gallon, I remember.
Dang.
Like when we first started driving.
Damn.
In the twos.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Texas, there's a couple of those spots that were just like just under $1.
So sick. Yeah, California has a lot more like restrictions and
there's a lot of taxes on it
and all that.
And there's
so it's
also
more
just
expensive.
the mystery pricing that
Yeah.
nobody can figure out. Like, why does it cost us much more? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Bunch
But
of
just
nonsense.
sub to Patreon instead of getting gas.
That's right.
That's the moral of the
Just
story.
walk.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right. The first game we're going to talk about today, I've been playing this, Hubert. You reviewed it for us, which just went out. Mm-hmm. That is the Callisto Protocol. Blood, you have experience with this too. You did a preview event.
I did a preview event, and then I just I played to get some technical impressions. The prologue and intro.
Oh, since it came out.
Yeah.
And you played
last
PC.
night. I played
right?
PC and Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hubert,
I'd like to hear about this.
Yeah, Hubert, why don't you first just kick it off and tell us about this game? What
Callisto
the hell is this?
Protocol, dude. All right. Science fiction survival horror. It is in the future, and it is from Striking Distance Studios.
Yep. First game.
Their first game. It's from Glenn Schofield and his team. He worked on, co-created Dead Space. This is a big thing, and has been working in the industry for a long time and did a lot of Call of Duty games recently. And it was originally supposed to be in the PUBG universe, weirdly.
Yeah.
Not the case anymore. Not the case, because they believe in the IP, they believe in the franchise, so they definitely want to keep this thing going. But it is very much like Dead Space. I mean, the comparisons are
Oh, yeah.
fair.
It's a spiritual successor.
Yeah,
I'd say.
absolutely. And you're this, you are like this cargo transporter, Jacob Lee, played by Josh Duhamel, dude. Shout out my mom. Her favorite show, she watched this thing for 40 freaking years. All my children's soap opera. It's not on the air anymore. She watched that thing forever. He was on that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, was that his big break?
Way back in the day, yeah. Yeah. So my mom was always like, oh, Josh Duhamel,
Yeah.
cool.
He's been in other games too, hasn't he? I think he's been like Call of Duty.
World War II. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, you're like this transporter, and you're transporting mysterious cargo, and then all hell breaks loose. No spoilers, but you end up you're transferring cargo between two moons on Jupiter, and on one of the moons, Callisto, is Black Iron Prison. So all hell breaks loose pretty quickly on, and then you are a prisoner in this prison, and you have to find a way out and uncover the mystery.
Yeah, and then you wake up, and then everything starts going down in
yeah.
prison.
Yeah. So that's the premise of Callisto Protocol.
This game, like everything setup wise, is you.
Oh yeah.
Sci-fi, horror, breaking out of a prison.
Mysterious organization, freakos, freaking like anti-hero, punished Jacob Lee.
Jacob.
Uneasy Alliance, dude. So
Wet
much.
gore.
Wet gore. Hitting
Lots of gore.
all the boxes. So I really, really like it. But there are some problems. But we'll get to those in a sec. Basically, what I really like is the atmosphere, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks good
to look at. And I think it's, I think we're still wowed by graphics, but like, it's harder nowadays, I feel like, for the graphics to be enough. You know, graphics are not.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like Crisis or something comes out. It's like, I'm playing this for the graphics. It's like, I don't
Right.
even care.
Yeah. Graphic showpiece.
You got a
right.
good face.
Really good
Yeah.
Some
face.
sweat
Small.
textures going on there.
Extremely
Yeah,
good
he's
face.
sweating.
This is something I was actually starting to question. Is like, okay, would you be that hot in space?
Maybe.
Like, I understand when he starts like booking it around the prison, but when he's on his ship and he's still real sweaty, I'm like, it'd be pretty cold.
Maybe the heater's broken.
Yeah, they gotta pump up that
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuck.
He does always look like this. If you look at his face, he's always like, this is like his default,
You know what?
which I like.
To be fair, I think that'd be my face if I was in his
Same. I'd be
situation.
like
Yeah.
freaked out.
Yeah, I'd be
totally.
freaked out constantly.
So visually, sound, visuals, just so nice to look at this game. The one problem, it kind of counts there too with visuals and stuff. The one problem though is for how good it looks and how immersive it is. I kept getting broken out of that immersion blood because of those transitions.
vents?
Shimmying through a wall, crawling through a vent. I mean, there's so much of this. I don't think it's a nitpick. I think there's just so
Yeah, there's.
so much of that.
I think people are getting a little tired of it.
Yeah,
The thing
yeah.
is, though, I actually do like the vent crawling.
It looks cool.
It look and feels cool.
Feels
you feel
cool.
vulnerable.
Totally.
And I think that's the thing is like a lot of times in games, like when you go through a vent, it's just like you're doing this like weird little duck walk. Where it's like, no, he's like belly
Absolutely.
all the way on the ground, completely
Right.
prone.
Totally.
Just shimmying through those vents.
Yeah, it's good.
And so it feels
Yeah.
right. It feels like you're in a really tight spot, and sometimes you see stuff going on.
Yeah.
While you're in that vent, and you're about to pop out of it, and like, I don't know if I want to pop out of that vent.
Yeah.
But it's also, I can see it like being slow,
Drags on.
having to do that a lot.
You do
or
it a
having
lot.
to go like from one area back and
Totally.
forth
Totally.
through a vent.
And then even times too, you don't want to miss the optional paths. So it's like
Right.
you go through a vent and you go on, and it's like, wait a sec though, I want to go back and check that other side. Then you got to go back through the vent. Maybe that side has a vent. Then you go back and
Yeah, can you turn around in a vent?
You
'Cause
can, I don't know if you can turn around
that
exactly.
feels like it would be too tight to do.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
kind of have to come out and then like come back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Or just
exploration.
shimmy backwards.
Yeah. So the setting and atmosphere are excellent, top tier, but the exploration I think is lacking a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. It's kind of like the game feels like you go from point to point to point to point to point. And I don't know, you don't really revisit a lot of stuff, which I kind of like from survival horror. Like, it's not like you need this to progress through here kind of thing.
Totally.
Like, there's none of that. It's just you go here, you go the path, and maybe there's a split you can go off, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which is fine, I guess, but I definitely was wishing or was hoping there'd be more exploration.
It would have been
I guess.
Well, and
sick-
like with the sewer chute thing that they showed in the previews,
Yeah.
like that's clearly like that's a one-way. Like you're gone. Like
Yeah.
you're not going back to those areas before.
Right,
that.
yeah, you're not revisiting anything.
Yeah. Frick, I lost my train of thought.
Exploration.
What?
I lost it.
Exploration, combat, story.
Oh well.
Need things to
We'll move
cross
on.
back into areas.
Oh yeah, I wish they had like you were saying, Brad, how linear it was in that sense of you never went back to an area. I would have liked maybe one or two big areas where it maybe leaned into like because there are moments when it's like a big area and you gotta like find a switch or a power cell and put it somewhere, but like maybe expand that even just a little more.
Yeah, you're like in this space, this area. It feels like a very distinct area, I guess, and you roam around there for a little bit. Then you move on, I guess. Yeah, I can totally see
because
that.
like they play with that a little
It
bit, but
definitely
it still
feels
felt
like
small.
most of it is you go forward kind of thing.
For sure. So then there's combat, of course, the meat and potatoes of Callisto Protocol.
I was not expecting this, how much there is to the melee, which is the big thing in this game. I was not aware that it was like this much.
Yeah, the entire game is built around this melee, in my opinion. You got this freaking stun baton, and you can bash them, and then like after a couple bashes, a little reticle will pop up, and then you can quick snap with your gun and do some extra damage. It'll kind of stagger them. You know, you can really get them in a rhythm if you're aggressive. You know, aggression is rewarded. So I was pumped about that. And then there's dodging, of course, which is very contentious, very divisive dodging mechanic.
Yeah.
1-on-1. Virtually no problem. Got snagged on an environment here and there, you know, a wall or something. But 1-on-1, pretty chill because, you know, if you're just holding, you realize if you're just holding it, like you're good. So like you hit a couple times, okay, I'm gonna be defensive now. I'm just gonna hold.
Yeah, what they say is you don't hold the same direction twice in a row.
So it's like a ducking and weaving, you know, a left, right, left. They'll do like three hit combo or a 2-hit combo.
What about the block? The block is the thing.
I never used the block.
Not sure.
I never used the block.
Yeah, I asked Huber about this.
Yeah.
I was like,
useless mechanic.
yeah.
Should have talked about it in the review.
Maybe,
But yeah, it wasn't even it was a non-factor. I was just like, whatever.
Because I'm like, I'm
I thought it
blocking,
was-
but
I
I
thought it
feel
was-
like I'm still basically taking damage. Yeah.
I don't think I criticized it in the review because I was like, I never block in games, so maybe it's just a me thing, you know?
I don't do it. I don't do it.
Okay.
Because the only time I've had to do it is if I'm against a wall and I can't really move, but it's not that often.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the dodging though.
Absolutely,
So I'm not against dodging in a game like I think it's an interesting idea. What I don't like about this is it is done with the left stick, which you use to move in the game.
Yeah.
And when an enemy gets close to you, it like locks you into this thing.
Yeah.
I feel like you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Final Fantasy 11 when I locked onto an enemy and it would like put me in a battle transition with this enemy. It's like you are locked in this with this thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, on 1-on-1, it's fine. But
Yeah.
when there's multiple enemies, it gets it doesn't flow as well as it should.
It doesn't flow as well.
And another thing is like, you're in these things and there's moments where I'm like, I need space. I need to move to get space. So it's a little harder like that. And one reason is there's no quick turn.
Yeah.
Which
no
I'm
quick
like, why is there no quick turn?
sluggish. Yeah.
Because you need to move it. Like, I don't like as I'm Jacob,
Yeah.
feeling like I have to turtle up and just kind of like, I have to dodge. I can't
Yeah.
move and get spacing a lot of times. Yeah, you could do it, but it's more trouble than I want it to be.
Totally. You're absolutely right, Brad. I think fundamentally, I think they were hoping for the balance of resources to factor into combat more. Because when you have enough resources at your disposal, you can deal with a ton of enemies
can.
pretty chill.
You can just shoot a lot of guys.
You shoot a lot, like you'll shoot them or you'll grip them away. You know, you get a stasis grip just
like
like
the
Dead
stasis
Space.
grip,
I
yeah.
love it
It's
in
fun.
this game. It's really fun, really nice when you're cluttered up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so if you have grip charges and some ammo, like you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
And it's real nice to just grab a toolbox and like throw it at
Yeah.
some dude's head.
Yeah, that's cool.
But if you're in a situation where like, I don't really have any ammo, and it's survival horror, so your instinct is to save, of course. I mean, that's what the game wants you to do. It's like,
Yeah.
save your resources.
I have
like,
so much ammo.
totally.
And I'm on hard.
Same.
And it's like, you get a lot
you
of
get
ammo.
a lot, like too much ammo.
Like, some of the guys take a lot of hits, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just
I'm
like...
still so curious if they changed it after the preview. I told Huber this.
Yeah.
Because when I came out of that preview, I was feeling like, okay, I've got enough ammo, but I felt like I was like right on the good edge of like, I've got enough, but I don't have too much.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I
Yeah.
could have run out here.
I guess
in this
it's just
chapter,
because-
but that was only in one chapter,
Yeah.
right? So if you
Yeah.
keep playing, then you maybe stock up
So,
more.
yeah.
But a lot of the other people came out of there, and we were talking, you know, on the sidewalk after the event, and everyone was like, I don't think I had enough ammo. There wasn't enough ammo in this game. So like, did that like make them
I hope
pump the
not.
ammo up a little bit?
Because every time you get a new gun, Blood, it is just another ammo source. Every
Right.
single gun uses different ammo. So every time you unlock a gun, that puts that ammo pool into the collectibles. You know, you stomp an
Yeah.
enemy, out pops bullets for that gun, bullets for this gun. So you all of a sudden you get a couple guns, and it's like, all right, I have so many good
Yeah, and that dice roll
bullets.
is interesting too when you get pickups because like
Yeah.
sometimes like I need health, but I'm just getting
Yeah.
credits. Yeah.
So I think on the surface they were hoping like, okay, the balance of resources, maybe some encounters they'll like, you know, got to manage those because
Yeah.
again, when you have a lot, it's like you can deal with multiple enemies pretty well, and even
Yeah.
even if you are light on resources, like you got to just move around and use the grip. Like I get it. There's a lot of complaints with like, yo, it's broken or it's BS when there's more than one enemy, and it's like, no,
you can just like manage. Yeah,
you can manage
for sure.
Like
it's just
not
not
use
as
your tools.
smooth as I want it to be.
Exactly. Well, freaking said.
It just should just be smoother. Like I wonder if they just had a dodge button.
Yeah.
Like you push the button in the direction. And Who does that? If that would have like, so you can like move easier when you're not just like locked into this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish they just kind of did something like that.
Yeah.
Huge melee focus.
Huge.
I do like the melee. I think it's fun whacking dudes. It's fun. Like
it's gritty,
especially with the upgrades to it.
Yeah.
Like I really like. There's an upgrade where you can like break their arm.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're attacking them,
best move.
they would like block it and like push it back. But if you do it, I do it now. Like their arm's gone.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So they only can like swing with one arm now. So
Yeah.
it's just way easier. I like that. It's cool.
And then the other cool thing about combat that it just loses a little steam, but it's so awesome on paper. The mutations.
Yes.
It is so cool. Such a cool concept.
Can you stop it with your baton?
Technically,
mutations?
yes. Technically, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to hit the tentacles.
Yeah. But it's like kind of unwieldy, so
Yeah,
you
you
don't
can't
really
aim the baton.
You can't aim with
Yeah,
the baton really
exactly.
well.
I mean, you
exactly.
kind of can.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those things where I think it's tied to your position in the animation.
Okay.
So it's like if you're pushing a direction, but his arm is in a different direction.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to swing a sort of different way than you
So there were just these awesome moments where Frico's about to mutate, someone else comes in, so I'm panicked. I'm like, yo, I gotta get this freak,
Yeah.
grip him away, knock the mutation down, and I love the stomp because I love the stomp in Dead Space, but I feel like in Callisto Protocol, truly one of my favorite stomps because it feels so urgent. It feels so impactful. Like someone is down but not dead,
stomping,
and
yeah.
they're like mutating, and it's like I gotta get over there and just like stomp. It's like really cool mechanic.
I wonder if you ran into this problem, which I've been running into, is a lot of the time I only have to use my ammo, unless I'm surrounded, but like there's a lot of one-on-one encounters in this game. I'll be just using my ammo when they're transforming a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's become my ammo dump kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's an unusual problem for people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if most people run into that,
I've
but that's like
saved
what
so
I've
much.
been. That's where I've been. But I want to go back to this since there's a lot of ammo and a lot of stuff. Is your inventory system?
Yeah.
You start with a small inventory system. I think it's too small for too long.
Yeah.
You don't get more till like kind of a bit later. You get like an upgrade, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, finally I have more. But at this point I have like 4 guns.
Yeah.
But I had like 4 or 5 slots, 6 slots for a while. And I was constantly getting to a point where I'm like, I just got to leave this kind of thing.
I kept leaving the batteries on the ground. I kept selling the health injectors.
Yeah.
Because they were giving me 100 credits. So I'm like, yeah, sell these.
Maybe,
freaking
I don't
things.
know. Maybe that's not a common thing. That's just kind of what I ran into.
I was jammed up a little bit. I was getting some Resident Evil 0.
Yeah.
Sure. Flashbacks
Not
a
as
little
bad
bit.
as that. God, no.
Yeah. But just a little clunky, sure. Or like changing your weapons sometimes, just like a little stiff.
How do you feel about the enemy variety? Do you think there's enough variety right now?
I love the enemies, but the mutation is like
I've only seen one
exactly.
mutation.
Yeah, unless I missed something, it was just like the one mutation.
So you always know who it's going to be.
Yeah, for like so long, and I was like,
Okay.
this is such a cool concept. Like if there were different mutations, like drastically different, maybe a melee focused mutation, a ranged mutation, maybe a slow, stronger one, or a quicker, weaker one.
There's some,
Yeah,
like,
just even what they mutated.
Yeah,
to being different.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's some cool enemies, I guess.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
yeah.
one that camouflages kind of, is like crawling around. I was like, this is cool. I like this guy.
Yeah.
This is fun.
And they introduced some later on that are pretty cool. There's like just enough. Maybe could have gone for like 1 or 2 more.
Sure, yeah.
But especially the mutations, I could have gone for just like a couple more of those.
Let's talk about the weapons. Now, I've seen people complaining, saying the weapons aren't creative enough. And I was like, because they're like, ooh, Dead Space, you got these weird like engineering tools. I'm like, well, yeah, he's an engineer. You're on a prison planet. So
Yeah.
you're getting like weapons from guards. I'm like, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But they still kind of feel like the first 2 you get is like, you get a pistol.
Love that pistol.
Totally cool.
Favorite gun.
Then you get like a shotgun pistol. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Then you get like a shotgun. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Then another pistol.
And you're just like, okay, I guess. Like,
yeah.
I was kind of hoping you like beef it up a little more.
Yeah. I think the guns are weak. Just straight up. I don't like the gunplay really that much.
Sure.
I don't hate it. but I don't love it. You know, I didn't have as much fun picking off an enemy,
Shooting guys as you would want.
Yeah,
I can feel that.
Yeah,
It's like, I think too that like you're saying, even the stun baton, like even swapping out that, like, you know, like if you got some kind of, you know, like fireman's axe, or if you got, you know,
I
like
guess
a little chainsaw kind of thing, or like a
chainsaw sword.
Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, is like there's a lot of different things that you could do because you go through all the different parts of this prison.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go through the medical area, you go through the water
Deleted.
treatment place.
Great unlockable.
You know.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you could have gotten like some kind of like claw hammer or something.
Yeah. Well, I like what you're thinking, Blood.
Speaking of which, where the hell are the unlockables?
Is there none?
I don't think so.
Dang.
No unlockables.
Dang, man. I haven't
Dang.
beaten it yet, so I don't
Yeah.
know, but that's a shame.
Yeah.
I love
survival
unlockables
horror.
as
Survival horror
survival
unlockables. Is
Yeah,
the best.
keep you coming back.
Yeah. So.
Or like a welder or flamethrower kind of thing.
Yeah.
Could definitely have something like that.
Yeah.
And like a flamethrower, usually you go through that ammo pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're gonna burn some guys, you're gonna go through that fuel.
Yeah. I love the flamethrower in Dead Space for the little crawler thing.
Oh, yeah. There's some little crawly boys in this,
Yeah.
too, that I hate.
Yeah.
Stomp them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think about the story?
The story is.
Because we talked about the premise and like setups.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there are things in this game that scream your name.
The story is so cliche, Brad, but it's just like
fine.
my favorite kind of shit.
Yeah, sure.
So like there's not enough for me to obsess over, but there's enough for me to be like, yo, next one. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Or like, yo,
get-
DLC
It's
or
interesting
next
because,
one.
like you said in the review,
Yeah.
you know, like when it starts off, you're just like, what the heck? What is happening right now?
Yeah.
And so you want to get to the bottom of
It's
it.
very mysterious. The mystery's
Yeah.
solid early on. Like,
Yeah, a lot of it's dealt out through audio logs and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
the
audio,
audio logs are
loose
kinda botched.
steam. Yeah, there's
because like they just force you to stop and listen to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once I like learned that you couldn't like move really,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
couldn't, I was like, oh man.
It's like you can turn your head and look at the menu. Like, okay, great.
there's like only a couple really good ones that like flesh out some interesting details. A lot of them are just filler that didn't really have any impact. But I think I like the characters, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Again, they're cliche archetypes. There's not much, but I like the performances. You know, I like those actors. Sam Witwer in there, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Deacon St. John.
You know, and what Kimiko from The Boys, and just a good cast.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I'm afraid to like get into too much, but I will say the villain intrigues me. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like just enough there for me to be like, yeah, down the line maybe. Like
Okay.
they can expand it, but it's very basic
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, I guess the feeling I've had of this game is like, I like where you're going.
Yeah.
I like where you're going.
I like
You're not
where you're
there
going.
yet. You're not there yet, but I like
Yeah.
where you're going.
Yeah.
Fix some things.
Yeah.
Expand on some things. I think you could have a good thing.
And Blood, you can probably speak more to it, but I obviously feel like the PC and Xbox 2/3 of the player base, have had a terrible,
We've been playing on PlayStation, and it's been like fine pretty
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah, so
terrible
I'm curious,
performance
though,
issues here.
When you guys are playing PlayStation, are you on the graphics mode or performance?
Always
mode?
performance.
Yeah, always
Always
Okay,
performance.
because it's one of the things where Digital Foundry was saying this is one where maybe you would favor
Sure.
graphics because of all the stuff they're doing with ray tracing. And so I'll kind of talk you through like what I did with PC because I played through basically up to you get the stun baton on PC, and then I was like at this point I'm like oh, okay, screw this, I'm going to install the Xbox version and see how it runs on
so
Xbox.
bad.
Yeah, so there's a few different things going on there. So first of all, there is what Digital Foundry pointed out, and I'm glad that I watched this thing because this is the type of things where, like, if I had just picked up this game on PC, I would start clawing my hair out trying to figure out how to adjust and fix for it, right?
Yeah. Messing with the
But
settings.
these shader compilation problems in Unreal, so where like basically just like a lot of things like that you see for the first time just make the game freeze.
Wow.
So, like, when you're in the very opening and the ship, like, the steam comes out of the vent, like, that happens and the game stutters for a second. The first time you stomp one of those little pustules on the ground, the game kind of freezes for a little bit. There's a lot of that sort of thing.
Don't let me forget that. Remind me, pustules. Remind me.
Also, I don't know if this is like. I need to like play some other games on my Epic account because I don't know when they added achievements to Epic. But every time an achievement pops in this game, it just stops for like 2 or 3 seconds. Oh my God. Like even if it's like motion blur or whatever happening on the screen, it's like stopped.
Just stop.
And I'm like, is it supposed to do this? Are you taking a screen? What is happening right now?
What?
So, but I haven't. I haven't played anything on Epic recently since they had those achievements in there. So, like, I need to see if, like, anything similar happens on other games. So I don't know if it's, like, an Epic overlay problem or a Callisto problem or, like, a combination of both of these things.
But I think someone might have been fired because Glenn Schofield's quote today or yesterday blamed it on a, quote, damn clerical error. And he said someone rushed a patch and, like, did it wrong.
Oh,
and he said, I don't know if he would have fired him.
Yeah. But it sounded
he was trying to say like
heads will roll.
But that's the thing. He said that before the first PC patch on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm playing this on Monday night, so it still has some of these issues for sure.
Yeah. Still has a road to go.
And then everything, like a lot of things, are just really choppy. Like when you're in the first, like walking out of your cell, and there's like all that smoke and fire around like that central tower. It was just Chop City. And what was frustrating about it is it would be so inconsistent because you'd get into some of these smaller spaces or like falling through a vent and it'd be like very clean, smooth, 60 frames per second. And then you walk into a room with fire and it's like, jerk, 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 jerk. And I'm like, okay. And then I went to Xbox and Xbox was doing all right. It was like...
It's hanging in there.
With the graphics
in there, little
mode,
Xbox.
like... Again, like the graphics mode operates on 30 frames per second. That's what it defaults to. On Xbox, it's interesting because it doesn't give you like a clear
Series
like,
X is a beast,
up,
and it's struggling.
Performance or graphics at first. It's just like enable performance mode is like an option that you go look for. But anyway, so I played with that for a little bit. But it's like even there, it was like it just like even for 30 frames per second. Like, it didn't feel, like, totally smooth. It still felt like it was a little hiccupy.
Yeah.
And there was the orange fog thing that Digital Foundry pointed out. I noticed that in some spaces. But then I swapped it on to performance mode, which obviously takes away all the ray tracing and stuff. But I guess there's some ray tracing options that are even enabled on Xbox compared to PS5.
I want to ask you about this. The headline came out before launch that 150 Sony employees worked on this thing and helped it through the finish line. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I'd heard about it.
Yeah, so I assume they were just working on the PlayStation version? So do we think
they might have been helping somewhat?
Do we think like that's why the PlayStation, maybe they were ironing it out. They had more people, more resources.
Yeah, they probably found some
focus on there.
Yeah, they probably knew the architecture a little bit better there. Although a lot of it should cross over.
Yeah.
But anyways, so after I like saw how the performance was running in performance mode on Xbox, and it was like a lot smoother, more, closer to 60 and everything. And then it was like, okay, well, let me go back to the PC version and see if I can sort of emulate that, which is hard because like the PC options aren't that simple, right? It's like you've got to like pick, got to pick and choose through all the different things. And eventually, like I landed on like, well, let me just turn ray tracing off, just all the ray tracing options that are there, leave the rest of the stuff at max, and there's like. Now that same stuttery, smoky area, nice and smooth. So it's like now this game is like the Callisto Protocol is like turning me off to ray tracing, and then I went into Darktide and I turned off the ray tracing in Darktide, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot smoother too. This is much more enjoyable.
I ever do ray tracing.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's frustrating because like I really do like.
Yeah, it's just demanding.
And it's like
and it's a game you want it to.
Is Insomniac the only people that can make ray tracing? I don't understand.
And you want ray tracing in a survival horror game. You want it to look as good as possible to get immersed.
But that's the thing is it was so distracting.
Yeah.
That it's like I guess performance mode is just the way for me to go. On this particular game, at least.
The chaotic side of me, Brad, kind of likes when PCs just buckle, dude. When a game is just like,
it's funny because it has the most potential, but it's just like, damn.
Oh, the other thing that was in there when I was in the PC. So by default, they have the AMD FSR2 enabled, which is basically the competition to DLSS.
Okay,
Not as good though. But
shots.
here's what was hilarious about it, and this is why I even like started moving over to Xbox after trying to fiddle with things, because when that is turned on, you know how the menus are like Dead Space, they're like projected into the world. Mm-hmm. If I have that turned on to performance mode, I can't read the text.
Uh-oh.
It's rendering the text at too low of a resolution to read it.
Oh my gosh.
In performance mode on AMD FSR. So then it's like I tried the other kind of. They had
So
another,
you've been through it, blood.
They had another upscaling option, and then I benchmarked that and actually ran at a lower frame rate than turning it off entirely. So I'm just gonna have this thing render natively rather than doing any of this nonsense.
Yeah.
See, yeah, and then like, it's just such a bummer, blood. Because it definitely, there's no defending it. I mean, the game is busted. It's unacceptable, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it is such a bummer because it's like we always say, and everyone on the internet, every gamer out there, everyone who loves games is just like, yo, come out a month later. What are you doing? Come out a month later, and it's like they can't because of like business crap and marketing and blah blah blah, and it's like, yo, just wait a week.
Yeah, it's probably it's usually the publisher designing that.
It's like,
yeah.
how do we change that? How do we change that whole situation?
games
Is it never going to be changed?
It does come down to the marketing side of it, because it's like you have to be in a position where the developers are allowed to basically finish the game, and then you figure out when it's going to come out. Yeah. Because otherwise, we're always going to be in this thing where it's like, well, we think we'll be done in 6 months.
Yeah.
And you have to, like with ad sales, even our own ad sales, right?
Coming out.
There's stuff sold on the
Yeah.
podcast through December of 2023.
Yeah.
Like, that's how this stuff works out in the world. So it's like, and that's why a lot of these dates are set and things like that. So they got to find their space to sell the ads. Mm-hmm. They've got to get the space in GameStop and get all these things worked out. And, and then, if you find out like 2 months before the game's out that it's not ready yet, then moving all of that, just a huge mountain.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. A lot of games, it seems like high-profile ones coming out, especially not being up to snuff. Like Pokemon was a recent one.
Yeah.
It's like you got this one, and it's just like these people that unfortunately like pre-ordered their game, and they're just like kind of locked
really
in.
Hyped on it. Nothing wrong with that. Like, excited for a game.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, if I like, you don't have to pre-order games a lot, is what I'm saying. You don't have to.
Totally.
If you're getting digital, especially, it's not going to sell out.
Yeah.
But you can make obviously choices and be very confident in it. You're like, this is from a developer who has an excellent track record. I mean, maybe not, but like CD Projekt Red was like, gotcha, kind of thing like that. But it's, I just saw a lot of people that are like, man, I pre-ordered this game and I can't even play it. It's like, man, I would recommend to you just maybe hold off a little bit often with stuff. Because nowadays games are coming out not in a state they should be all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And there's a lot of factors tying to it. It's often, like you said, like not even the developer's decision kind of thing like that. And they're trying to they're scrambling right now. I've seen them tweeting constantly. They're working on stuff.
I mean, behind the scenes review process, the PS5 version was borked initially, right when I got my review code. And honestly, it railroaded my review a little bit. I stopped for a day or two. It was bad. I was like, yo, I'm going to wait for them to address this or say something. I'm expecting an email from them about this, honestly, because it was brutal. It was like, clearly there's something wrong here. Whatever.
And that was in performance mode.
Yeah. I did both. Yeah, it was bad. So I waited a day or two, and then, since that day, there have been 5 patches.
Yeah, patched a lot.
So at least
they've been patching like crazy.
They've been patching like crazy. So at least shout out to that. They're definitely on the right track.
Yeah, they're doing what they can. Absolutely. But it is unfortunate for a lot of people, especially. Like, if I played on PC, I bought it on PC.
Yeah.
I'd feel burned for sure.
Oh my God, I'd be pissed.
I was just
pissed.
lucky that I had an
pissed.
extra Xbox code because of all things, it's like, oh, I got a code from ID at Xbox. I'm like, this is an indie game? Okay. I didn't think of it that way, but sure.
Indie Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
6 months of DLC planned.
Yeah.
I'm already ready.
Sure, yeah.
I'm in for the Callisto Protocol.
I feel a little weird about that. A lot of their DLC is like the same kind of stuff that's being offered by other games for just extra updates.
They have some free ones. They have a New Game Plus and a hardcore mode coming for free, at least. But yeah, I mean,
maybe hardcore will have that ammo adjustment.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will
Yeah.
be. I'm sure it will be much tougher. I expect it to be.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll wait for that to do the Easy Ally stream.
I don't think it's till like February though.
Sorry,
I mean,
you
you can wait.
You're
Yeah,
gonna have
you
to
can
wait.
wait.
Maybe not.
Well, I still gotta go through God of War, man.
Yeah,
So
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make promises you can't
Yeah.
keep
We'll
yet.
see. We'll
Just
see.
hold
We'll
off.
see. Yeah, we'll see.
Koshimitsu wrote in, said, I finished Callisto Protocol a couple days after its release, and while I found some of the design decisions in it frustrating, I enjoyed my time with it overall. The dodge mechanic in particular seems to be a point of contention, especially when it comes to dealing with multiple enemies. I've seen several well-known streamers hard quit the game very early on, getting frustrated and unwilling to try and give it much of a chance.
Survival horror. What is it about survival horror where people just lose it, dude, and freak out? God.
What do you think of the dodge in this game? Can you recall another game with unorthodox mechanics that made you or others stop playing it? I think, so the dodge, it took a little bit for it to click for me.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely died a lot, where I was like, because especially on like hard.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what am I doing?
I was dead in like a hit or
two
two.
hits. Yeah, 1 or 2 hits or boom.
I was just like, I don't get it. Because, I was trying to dodge at the last second. Like, I
Yeah.
think you would do in every other video
Right.
game.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
But
no,
really, you have to load it up, basically. I started
queue,
to load
you
it up.
Queue it up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you queue it up.
Yep.
Queue up the ability earlier than you would in
Yeah.
other things. And once I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay,
Easy.
I understand it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very easy to do.
Yeah. And the attacks are so telegraphed.
Yeah,
There's a couple if you're getting but it also helped because if you're getting reckless, they'll kind of
Push back
they'll kind of squeak an attack in there.
like, you can't get 3 hits in every time.
yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
got to do the 2. You got to watch them.
Yeah, and I love that
Yeah.
stuff, Brad.
Once you,
I
think
that.
this game just has a really steep learning curve and getting settling into it from like most people expect and maybe want for survival horror.
Yeah.
Because you definitely got to like get used to this game.
Absolutely.
And if you're not feeling it, I can understand why people bounce off it.
Yeah.
But like, shout out to throwing guys and like grinding blades. That's
Hell
really
yeah.
fun. It's really fun.
Hell yeah.
It's cool. It looks awesome.
Like a big fan.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's so goofy because I'm like, why are these things here?
Why are they there?
Like spikes
do
on the
feel
walls
like
like a
the
Mortal
enemies,
Kombat
though-
stage all the time.
I do think that
Fatality.
the enemies are like oddly brittle. Do you know what I mean? It's like a leg will just pop off, or something like
Yeah.
that, rather than like getting like pulled through something like
Yeah.
jerky. It's
I mean,
yeah,
it's definitely not Resident Evil 2 levels of
No.
war there, but
it's
nothing
fun.
is.
Yeah. But yeah,
I can't really think of any other weird mechanics that threw me off, Brad, in any other games. The other part of that question.
yeah. In the game, calling the other game with unorthodox mechanics made you either stop playing it. I don't think stop playing it. Actually, no, I do have one.
Nice.
Tenchu 4 on Wii. You had to use like motion controls for like stealth kills, and I was like, dude, I hate this. I just hated it.
I can't even imagine what that would do.
Two
Okay.
things. Two things that we didn't talk about with Callisto before we bounce out.
Yes,
Here. Two things. One, the
please.
pustules. One of my favorite traps now in video games.
Guys
Those things
that latch on to you.
that latch on to
They
you,
look cool.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. And then also stealth. Stealth! I love stealth so much.
So
I love stealth, and I love it in this game. I love it so much. There's an enemy that is introduced later on, and it clearly wants you to stealth
Yes.
against this enemy.
Yes.
Clear as day. Like
Yes, it's
stealth.
well known.
It is the stealth enemy, and there are a couple parts in this game that are just like all stealth, and I loved those sections so much. So I think the stealth mechanics were solid.
I think stealth mechanics are fine. I just think the scenarios often it didn't feel, I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to, organic in the sense of
one really good.
when you're in a stealth section, it feels very much like, yo, this is a stealth section. It didn't feel, I was thinking about Evil Within a lot when I was playing this, is how it feels much more natural in every encounter.
Obviously.
Like, that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like they designed the encounters for like, no, you're not going to do stealth here. You're not going to.
Yeah.
The enemies are designed so they will just see you. You can't do stealth here.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when you hit one, then the rest will be
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in like Evil Within, it felt like more to me.
But I
I
like
could incorporate it more throughout the whole process.
Got it. I get that. I liked that it was specific sections, actually.
Why?
Just because of the way they introduced that particular enemy type.
I think it works there well.
I
in
think
that
it
example.
works really
it does there.
well for
I just
that.
wish it was more in the game.
Sure.
Where it felt like more of an option. Like I had more of a
Sure.
choice, I guess.
Yeah. Like when they.
Because you can pick a couple
first
off,
one
even
they-
not those
There's
freaks.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not as much as I would want.
The first time, like when they introduced it with that robot or whatever, I feel like that's a little weak because it's like it feels like there's a direct line of sight between me and this guy's headlamp,
Yeah.
and you just don't see me.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, just because I'm crouched by this wall.
Oh, it's classic crouch you're good scenario. Yeah. yeah.
Crouch, you're good.
Crouch you're good.
But yeah, I guess Callisto Protocol, things I like, good, solid part. Like, I can't recommend this game to everybody, especially right now.
Yeah.
Like, especially all survival horror fans, depending on what you're playing on. I think if you're worried about technical aspects, just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some cool ideas I like that's going on here, but I'm definitely hungry to see what they can do.
this game's on
after
last
this.
gen too.
Same.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Jeez.
I don't want to think about that.
Has issues, but I love it.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I get why people like it. I get why people don't like it.
Definitely not in the top tier though. Of,
No,
you know,
it's
Resident
not.
Evil,
It's
Evil
not.
Within,
It's
Dead
not.
Space. It's definitely a tick and a half below that.
Yeah. But yeah, curious to see what they do going forward. All right, Blood, you've been playing, and we actually played some of this too. Need for Speed,
Yeah.
Going boys.
Unbound.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so far.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm still real like super early.
Yeah.
But what we did on the stream was
So fun.
was almost like not representative of the game because it's a prologue chapter, and so like we were wandering around the open
yeah.
world and stuff, and it just felt like it was kind of empty, and like there weren't events and stuff
Right.
like that. But it's because it's
We were
a
doing the prologue.
chapter,
Got it.
and it's like after you get past this prologue story thing, then the map just opens up with like all these collectibles and speed traps and ramps and just all, you know, the kind of stuff that you're expecting out of this game, and like billboards to smash and all of that. So like now that I'm like got that open, it's like, oh, okay, this is, you know, more enticing, more interesting. I just, for one, I want to say like,
Wait, there's billboards to smash?
yeah,
Nice.
they are in there.
Sick.
Yeah. There's also these like bear statues.
Yo.
It's like
Yeah,
cartoon bear,
bear
that you
champs.
smash. And the graffiti. Remember, we're like
Yeah.
gawking at
I
that
saw you
graffiti?
tweeting about that. It looked
That's
awesome.
collectible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
And when you collect it, then I think you can also put it on your car.
Oh, like a decal, dude?
Yeah.
Sick. That's really smart. Really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good collectible for
Yeah.
the series.
That's great, Blood.
But one of the biggest things is just like this game looks and performs really good, and I could not say that about the last game. The last game felt dated. It felt like
Right.
it was like on the wrong hardware or whatever. Like just
Heat, right?
heat.
Heat, yeah. I liked Heat. I liked Heat.
He was okay, but there were a lot of these like distracting, just like things
Yeah.
popping in, and like you could watch
Totally.
the bushes draw while you're riding around and stuff like that. And this has moments, you know, like you're saying, like some of those screenshots I put up. It's like,
Yeah.
I look
keep
at this
doing
and,
that,
like,
please. Please keep doing that.
this
It's
is like
comfort food.
This is
Blood.
like a double take. Like this looks like a real city in certain lighting, you know, elements, and like the, you know, the puddles and stuff, the reflections are just gorgeous, and I like don't even think it's using ray tracing.
Take that, Insomniac.
You know, it's like
Yeah, Blood was talking to me about screen space reflections and stuff. Blood's our digital foundry guy now. I love it.
But you know, it all performs well at
Puddles.
speed. There are like little, like tiny hitches to where like if you're sensitive to them, you might notice them, but they're like not really a big deal.
You're playing Xbox, right? Xbox version?
Yeah, I'm playing on Xbox.
Okay.
And yeah, and so it's running really well. It feels good to play. I'm still like trying to figure out like all the like nuances with the drifts, because I think
Yeah.
like the drift is like one of those things where it's just like you have some cars that drift better than others, and so like I've got like a Mazda now, like a MX-8 or something like that. And that's the other thing you were complaining about, like the starter cars.
Yeah.
Once you
There's
get past
more.
the prologue, you basically get a new start.
Perfect.
And there's a lot more of those
Awesome.
better starter cars. That's why I showed you the Honda that was
so-
there.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this. You didn't like that there's like a lot of high brand cars in the game. You're like, you know, Ferrari. You're like, this isn't street racing.
So many.
I'm curious, like, do you know like what modern street racing cars would be? Because when
Well,
I think of
just-
street racing cars, I think of shit from Fast and Furious.
Well, because they're like
I'm just curious.
street racing culture and racing games too. They don't have enough like models and years of a car. Like that's why I love like Gran Turismo and stuff, because it'll be like numerous years of the same car, numerous versions of the same car. Need for Speed doesn't really do that. That's what I want to see more of.
Yeah.
More.
I mean, Need for Speed will have like 50 to 100 cars, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas Gran Turismo will have like hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So just like more of each.
Yeah.
Especially for the low ends.
I saw like an Eclipse, I think, when one of the races you were doing Blood. I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize this kind of thing. Maybe there was a Supra at some point too.
Hell yeah.
And then
Super hype.
the other thing that when we were streaming, like we didn't quite get the boost mechanic.
Yeah.
And so basically there's 2 tiers of boost. So you've got this blue meter on the outside of the wheel. And that is like you hold the A button to burn. And that just like, it seems like it just automatically goes back up. Like you burn it, it refills. Then there's the yellow meter, and this is the important thing. This is a boost game. This is what you need to pay attention to. So like all of the stuff that you would do, like Burnout introduced basically, is like driving on the wrong side of the road,
near
misses,
I love
drafting especially, jumps especially, burnouts, drifting. All that stuff makes your yellow go up.
Nice.
And then your yellow has 3 chunks based on how much that needle goes up. And you really, really, really want to get up to that top chunk. If you get the full 3, it's a really noticeable speed boost, and it can like just jettison you
rocket
past
ship
somebody.
That's
for
awesome.
sure. And the other thing about it is, once it gets up, it starts to fall back. Really, so you can't bank it.
That rules.
Yeah.
That's a smart mechanic, Blood. I like that.
Yeah.
Blood, I have a serious question, because Need for Speed Heat, and even the one before that, the live action, I forget what year that was.
It wasn't live action.
No, the one before Heat.
Yeah. Well, the one before Heat was the Vegas one.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was the bad
That's
one.
the bad one. And then, so I didn't really play that one.
I forget what the name
but
of
I did
that
the
was,
live action Heat. I remember Heat as like specifically was such a grind.
Oh.
And I saw that complaint about this Need for Speed of like, yo, it's pretty grindy to like unlock races.
I think it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I'm not that deep into it yet, but so now the other thing with this is the whole day-night cycle, and it plays into the Heat as well. So when so you basically like have days on a calendar, and so you have the daytime and you have the nighttime, and so your Heat carries over through one day and one night, and then the next morning your Heat clears.
It's awesome.
And
So an entire day
and then
evading
also,
the law.
Turn in the belfry.
while you're out and about, then your cash is constantly growing. And so if you get busted before you go back and bank your cash,
You'll
then you
never
lose
take
your
me
cash.
alive.
But when you go back and bank your cash, you're triggering going from day to night. So you really have to decide, like, okay, do I want to keep doing more events? Do I want to keep exploring? Or is it time for me to move the calendar up? Because you have this basically tournament that you're competing in, and you have till Saturday night to get your car up to spec.
Sick.
So you have to get enough cash to upgrade your car to be able to compete in the race.
Good premise.
And so it's like you go from like I think you like start with like a B something or B plus, and then you want to get it to A, then A plus, S, then S plus by the whole calendar.
Is the upgrading fairly simple of your car?
I haven't dug into it too much, but I think it probably is.
Okay.
I have to look into the
Like
the upgrade
me,
systems a little
I
bit
guess.
more, but I don't want to do a whole lot of it either. So
Sure, yeah. I'm wondering if like I would just upgrade my car. I remember looking at GT7. I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on here, which is great for enthusiasts and all that
Love
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
But I would just have to like, really spend a lot of time figuring it out, which is totally fine.
Gran Turismo did a really good job of streamlining a lot of that shit. Like,
Sure.
you don't have to if you don't need to,
Yeah. But I'm just saying, because this is much more of an arcadey kind of racing game, I was just wondering how involved it is.
Yeah. No, it definitely leans more towards that, but I haven't dug into that too much because it's basically just introduced at this point where I'm at. So I haven't really had the cash to upgrade yet. Mm-hmm. And then when you do a race, Huber, there's a side bet as well.
Love this
Pick
mechanic.
another racer,
Hell
and they
yeah.
and they show
Challenge everybody to
where
side
they
bets.
think that racer's gonna finish.
Yeah.
And then you put up the side bet there, and so that so you have to put money down to enter a lot of these races.
Love
So you
this.
have to put like $2,000 down, and then you could win
Buy
$6,000
in.
if you get first place. But see, if you don't get first place and you get like third, then it's like, okay, well, you put down $2,000, you won $4,000,
Got
you
it.
lost your side bet, so you really only walked away with like $1,500.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little mechanics to
I think
that.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I
very
like
cool.
that.
Very
That's fun.
cool. I like that a lot.
The
Seems in the
other
spirit.
thing that I'm curious what you'll think about this, because we were talking about difficulty, the retries, that day-night cycle, per day, per 1 day and per night, you only get 4 retries for all of the
Bloodworth,
races
dude.
that you
Bloodworth.
do.
Bloodworth. One of the biggest Achilles heels for me in racing games is like,
Oh, you just do it again.
yeah, I'll just do it again. Oh, you gotta get first every time. I'll get first. Move on to the next one. Like,
Yeah.
that is so smart, dude. Because and then with all the side bets like you're talking about too, and the money, it's like you kind of just have to accept where you place instead of just like retrying them until that is.
Yeah, because I
It's
mean,
like-
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Just retry.
Yeah, that seems like a good amount too. To
Yeah.
make the races feel more stressful, I guess. But you get a
Genius.
few shots at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
do
it's
like-
interesting because it's not 4 retries per race. It's
Yeah,
4
it's just
retries
the whole
for the
time.
whole day.
The day and night, yeah.
So
I
it's
like that.
You want to use them right.
It's like, you reset it. You reset the whole cycle. It's like Majora's Mask. You go to the next day kind of thing like that. I like that.
And that's one of the things that changes with the difficulty. So you get fewer retries on hard, you get more on easy.
Nice.
So-
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood. It's been the little I played has been freaking awesome. It just feels right. Really good vibe.
I like the way it looks too. I appreciate the style.
Yeah.
Definitely not for everybody, but I like,
definitely like,
like it.
Yeah.
I like the effects. The effects aren't overdone.
The
Every one
wings
of
are
them
so cool
are
when you're in the
meaningful.
air.
Well, and that's the thing too, is there's like all of these different
Different wings.
all
Yeah.
these different things to customize.
Love that.
To find something that you actually like.
Need for Speed is the feel-good hit of the winter, dude. Straight
Yeah, I'd
up.
say so. I was like, man, I kind of want to play this.
Yeah. The one thing though that definitely kills it is the like story writing, voice acting.
So much of it.
All trash.
Yeah,
It's
always.
all trash.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
There's so much of it, too.
There's a lot of it. Well, there's a lot of it in the beginning, and a lot of the lines they sound like they're in the booth looking at the script for the first time, reading it off. And I don't mean to insult them. I don't know if it's the directors. I don't know who it is. It just it's bad. And
Yeah.
then all these people that you race against, it's just like this weird like. It's like they wanted to be Street Fighter or something. They've got like. Some guy from Africa, some guy from Australia, some guy from Britain. And
World
it's like-
tour.
and they've all, and this German guy, like Rudiger, with this ridiculous
Rival.
accent, to where it's like, are you from where are you from? I don't buy that's a German accent. It's just this insane
Dude putting
caricature of
on-
Germany. Like,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah, just some guy doing
It's a
an
little
accent.
weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
And
Should have hired Jones.
the
Yeah, hire Jones.
Hire Jones.
music is fine.
fine.
But it goes hard.
Cool.
Like explicit lyrics warning.
Oh,
People
Blood's
talking about their
uncomfortable.
junk.
I like when people say stuff goes hard, dude.
Yeah.
Put that in my Sonic Frontiers review. I was like, oh no, I said they go all in on something, the boss
Yeah.
fights, even though they were bad.
What I like about the music though, Huber, the default option, it's not on constant. It's
Love
not
that.
just like a radio
I turn my
running.
music usually off for when I
Yeah, yeah.
play real,
You like to
real
hear the
racing
engine.
games. Yeah, I need to hear the engine, the screeching of the tires. I love
Yeah,
it.
I get that.
It
love it.
comes in and out
That's great.
kind of naturally. So that you do
This
drive
game-
around a lot without music
But
running.
everything you're saying are like responses to the entire genre. Like this is thought out. Need for Speed did not phone it in this year. They thought out
They did good.
and looked at the entire like genre of racing games and made really smart choices.
Yeah. And I zipped around the map, because it's like loosely based on Chicago, but then there's like, and Heat was this way too. Like you get out into the hills and it's like,
Yeah.
there's not hills like this anywhere near Chicago, right? But you can get up there and you can like see the whole city from up there. There was a ski jump that I found, which, I hadn't opened up collectibles yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I found a
I saw that video.
billboard.
That was awesome.
I found a billboard before I knew there were billboards.
Slam
I was
through
just
it.
like driving through the dark, and I made a jump, and there was this like smash, and like I got a challenge, cleared. I'm like, what? There's billboards in this game? Sweet.
Yeah, seems fun.
Love it.
Is there any like sick? So you're like going around this world, blood. You're doing stuff. You're going through billboards. Is like the process of doing these objectives fun? Like you get this billboard. You're like, I see this billboard.
Mm-hmm.
Is the act of actually figuring out how to get to that billboard, smash through it, cool? Or you're like, oh, that was like a fun little course that took me
Little
through.
puzzle.
Yeah, something like
It
that.
can be. It depends.
Okay.
Because they are higher up, so you have to
Yeah.
figure out
Okay.
if it's on the train tracks, where's there a ramp and that sort
Okay,
of thing.
yeah.
Or sometimes, it's like the speed traps and stuff. You just like see those moments where like, yeah, I don't have the right car for this.
Yeah.
I want to hit the speed trap real good right now, but it's not happening.
Do you think they didn't know what they had on their hands with this game, blood?
It sort of feels like it. It just doesn't feel like it was pushed that well, and I'm annoyed that like. I want to review this game, but I know I can't this time around. I don't.
We didn't
have the
like. I don't
time
think anyone got this
for the
game
break.
early, kind
Yeah.
of thing like that. Just kind of they just put it
No,
out
even
there.
IGN was like, we got it
The day it came
the
out.
day that the Palace
Yeah.
Edition came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Palace
like,
Edition.
I think that the reviews are really just now starting to hit.
And it's because, like, again, I love Need for Speed because I freaking grew up with it, and
Yeah.
I love racing games and cars and
absolutely.
everything about it. But the last 3 games
Yeah.
were subpar. Like
Three strikes.
I platinumed the live action one. Like I love Need for
It's
Speed.
probably easy, right?
No, it's a grind.
really?
Dude, Need for Speed games are a grind, man. Like you grind these out sometimes.
Why'd
yeah.
you do it?
Because I loved it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like these.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I know, and again, I didn't really play that middle one in between Heat and
Right.
the live action
you
one.
felt burned.
But like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
It's natural for everyone to kind of be like skeptical of the brand. Like,
Yeah, maybe they
which
didn't-
Need for Speed are we getting
they
this
Well,
time?
and plus they were switching developers back to Criterion.
Yep.
But Criterion has not been in the game for a long time. They've been
Yeah.
working on Battlefield and Star Wars stuff, and so. And they brought in people that used to work on MotorStorm. And it's just like,
Hey, I loved MotorStorm on
but
PS3.
No, but I'm saying though, it's like
Cool game.
you're basically almost dealing with a new unknown team, even though
Yeah.
it's got the Criterion name. You
Yeah.
know, like even some of those Criterion founders are off with their little indie company.
Yeah.
So it's just like I was very curious, like what is going to happen with this game.
Well, yeah, it's a pleasant surprise, it seems like.
But I don't think a lot of people even knew it exists or knew it came out.
I don't think they announced it that soon before it came out, actually, right?
Yeah, we've only known about it,
was
for
a month
couple
or two,
months.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Couple months.
And we
how-
didn't have any preview events.
It's like that is like the cycle of you thinking if something is just going to be bad, and they just kind of like spit it out, but it's like, nah,
Solid.
it's cool. That's a nice surprise.
yeah.
Dang.
It's getting 8s everywhere. 8s
Wow.
and 9.
Great.
The Metascore is like 80 right now. Or
Oh,
something.
nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know any reviews had been hidden.
Yeah. Reptile Scorpio wrote in, "Howdy, allies. It's great to hear that Need for Speed Unbound is a fun return to form for the series. I loved playing Underground, shout out, series along with the Burnout titles back when arcade racers seemed to be everywhere. With Forza Horizon falling on from the groundbreaking Burnout Paradise... With Forza Horizon falling on from the groundbreaking Burnout Paradise without much change over its 10-year lifespan, where do you think the genre can go from here?"
Oof.
What can they do?
Need for Speed or the racing genre?
I guess you
You're
could
talking
say-
about open world
Yeah,
racing games,
I guess,
with
yeah.
the collectibles and everything
Well,
else
that's
going on.
blood,
Yeah.
man. That's what I love about these pillars of the genre of Gran Turismo, Forza, and Need for Speed. When they're all kicking, they offer different
experiences.
takes and experiences for what you're racing in all 3 of these games, but like they're all so different from each other. So it's always so nice to have that balance. Yeah, I mean, all the changes you were talking about are amazing and definitely a step into shaking up the genre a little bit. Obviously, Gran Turismo 7 has so many different modes and there's online
Yeah.
functionality and
Right. But I think, kind of what he's getting at is that, like, even though we've expanded in a lot of ways,
still similar.
it's like it's all really feels like the template of Burnout
Yeah.
Paradise set down.
That's true, yeah.
One thing I haven't jumped into at all in Unbound is the online play and how that works. Because, with Forza, like, you constantly have
People
guys running
flying
around
in
on the
and out.
map going by. You've got all like the community crafted events and like the crazy, created tracks and things like that. And so, yeah, it's hard to think of like, what it must be like in one of those developers to be like, okay, now what? Because it's like we've thrown like almost every possible thing you can at the wall. They've got you racing trains.
I mean,
in
they
Forza,
even
it's like,
and then they made the Crew even Ubisoft, and that's like a take on the genre kind of racing different things.
It's like I don't know if bigger is necessarily the answer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do? You make your car fly or something? Yeah. I don't know. Like fight like robots also. I don't know.
But even like Burnout had Burnout bikes, that update,
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different things that they tried out with that, and the Crew has the boats and the airplanes,
Yeah. Maybe you can just like keep polishing up those aspects, I guess. I don't know.
I loved the online stuff in Gran Turismo 7 where it's like, be respectful. If you bump anyone, you're losing points.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's fun.
Yes.
That's what that game's
online
about.
and like Forza, it's like here's zombie mode.
Yeah, get nuts.
That's fun.
Smash them.
Yeah, that's fun.
Forza.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I think Unbound's a cool game. Glad to see the series coming back. Like I don't play the games, but like I've heard, over the years, people just been like, Need for Speed,
Right.
whatever. It's like, hey, cool Need for Speed game.
Yeah.
Feels good.
And Gran Turismo 7 in
And
the
Gran
same
Turismo
year,
7 coming out,
dude.
and like
Yeah.
Forza's
Hopefully
coming.
word of mouth will
Yeah,
get around
word of
on
mouth
this
is
one.
good.
Yeah.
yeah, that is a powerful thing. Big
Real
time.
good.
Next game, we've both been playing this, Huber, you and me, but you've definitely played more than me. Do you know what it is?
No.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Nice.
I'm addicted.
You've played a lot of this
Oh
game.
my God, have I played a lot of this
Now,
fucking game.
you've played everything under the sun with this game.
Damn it,
Quick question,
dude.
though,
I was
before-
gonna get the map names for this conversation, and I forgot
It's
to do
okay.
it, Brad.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Before we dive into it, though, I have a question, 'cause I don't know. There's no zombies for this?
No zombies. No zombies.
That's been a thing sometimes, though, right?
I don't know.
One
I have no
developer will
idea.
Make a zombie,
I,
the other one
I
won't.
don't play Call of Duty every time. The last one I played was Vanguard. I reviewed it.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was zombies in it, but it's pretty bad
Yeah.
when I played it. So maybe they're like, well,
Take a break from the zombies.
now the rumor is, it's been reported many times, there will be no Call of Duty next year, but there will be a expansion, additional content for this game. So I'm like, maybe they'll add it there.
Give me
something
that
like
ghost. Give me that ghost.
Yeah. Anyways, talk to
Sick.
me about Modern Warfare 2, Huber. You liked the reboot, the
Oh
first
my
one. You
God.
really loved that
I
one.
love Modern Warfare Reboot, and
Let's talk about the
Modern
campaign
Warfare
first.
2
Yeah, let's
Reboot.
talk about the campaign first. What do you think of the campaign?
I always got to give the disclaimer, the full context. I finished every single mainline Call of Duty campaign there ever was since the first one on PC.
Did you do like Big Red one and all
Big
that?
Red one,
Wow.
3 on Xbox 360.
That's like 20 games.
They're like 5 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
I
They're
like
pretty short.
keeping up. It's an important part of our
I would
industry.
say it's a comfy thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it goes back to when I was a kid. It was one of the early PC games I played.
Dude,
Kind of
Call
like
of Duty 2.
Behind the Cows. When aim down sights was like the craziest thing. It was
Yeah.
like, what is
What was
this?
crazy is like I reviewed those Wii ports.
Oh, that's funny.
And
yeah.
it's like they were like just killing it. Like they had really like nailed like what a shooter should be like on that platform and made really good games.
Yeah. See, Phil Spencer was saying like they would want to put Call of Duty on Switch if they could.
Oh, nice.
They're like, yeah, we'd put it on Switch. Whatever.
Resnick in Big Red One? Dude, Big Red One has some tie-ins, bro.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the Call of Duty lore. But yeah, let's talk about the campaign.
The campaign is just all right.
Okay.
It's solid. It's good. I would say it's flat good.
So,
Flat good.
question. So this is like a
It's
reboot.
throwback, though.
Yeah, it's like a reboot to...
Reboot reimagining.
Do you cover some of the same ground from the original?
It's pretty different.
Okay.
It's definitely remixed, for sure.
yeah.
It's definitely remixed.
It's not like one-to-one.
Yeah, this whole thing is confusing.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, like some things that
I know
should have been in 2 are going to be
came
in 3.
out a while ago, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but just curious if you like noticed
Yeah.
things.
Couple characters, I'll be like, oh, okay. Or like the villain, a villain here and there. I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, that villain is,
Yeah,
gonna
it's like,
do
oh,
stuff.
price. Again,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh, price in every game.
Ghost in this game is amazing.
Okay.
I've heard this.
Ghost
It's
is
surprising.
so fucking good in this game. He's just got like
It's got a vibe.
great attitude, a great vibe, great VO, and just a commanding presence. And it's nice that price kind of takes a little bit of a back seat this time around. You know, price is always the focus. Price rules 10 out of 10. Love you, Price. But it was nice to get Ghost front and center. Gorgeous game as usual. Call of Duty.
Dude,
just smell the money.
The budget is so high.
You
for these
smell
games.
the $100 bills coming off your TV for sure. Like the cutscenes are ridiculous.
Yeah.
The campaign, it was just okay. There's a lot of throwback missions. Good variety. You know, there'll be like the gunship style missions. There'll be some stealth missions and just all hell breaks loose missions. But just, you know, Call of Duty campaigns for me live and die by the scenarios you're in. And none of the scenarios had a huge impact on me.
Got it.
There's some
no
cool
mission in your mind where like, dude.
Yeah. Like there's some cool stuff maybe where you're like rappelling down a building a little bit. That was pretty cool. But like Modern Warfare 1, I think about breaching the freaking house in the middle of a neighborhood, night vision goggles, or like Piccadilly Circus terrorist attack, like intense moments in Modern Warfare. And yeah, Modern Warfare 2 didn't really ever hit those highs. It didn't really have any lows.
Sure.
So I was just like, all right, it's good.
You're like, cool.
Yeah. So
Main attraction, majority of the people is the multiplayer. So
Yes.
I played some of this with you. Holy shit. Every time I play Call of Duty, I forget how insane it is. It is like nonstop, zero attention span video game.
Yeah.
You're flooring it the entire time. That's like you're the entire time.
That's why
It was
like
fun.
with those games, like I have a hard time imagining like the people that like really gravitate towards sniper rifles because I'm like, how?
Blood?
Like, people
They're
are
so
flying
good.
around.
How are you so good with this?
I was watching Huber play it one time at work. This guy,
Yeah.
just killing Huber
How are you so good with
with the sniper rifle, just boom,
Yeah.
boom, all the time on Huber.
Yeah. Just they are professionals.
Professionals.
Absolutely.
It's a lifestyle. Call of Duty is a lifestyle.
So multiplayer is incredible. The maps are incredible, and I always try to praise the package that is Call of Duty. This is such a beefy package. This is a full course meal, steak and lobster dinner with apps, with desserts, with a bottle of wine. You've got it all. Like, you have the campaign. You have co-op campaign missions that take place after the campaign.
Very cool.
With a 3-player raid coming down the
How is that-
line.
Wait, what? Is there loot? I don't understand.
There's puzzles and intense.
What?
Yep, there's puzzles and intense shootouts. They said
Dude.
that's all they've said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they
3-player.
coming for Destiny?
I guess.
They're pissed.
Yeah.
Activision's pissed, dude.
There's that. There's obviously Warzone for free, and then of course multiplayer. And you're talking about pedal to the metal, right? But there are like search and destroy and hostage rescue
absolutely.
that lean into that slower paced, no respawn. Your life is precious.
there, for
so
sure.
you can slow it down as well. So there's just an insane amount of variety in this game.
There's a lot. Yeah, it's impressive. And Call of Duty's super crazy.
And in my opinion, Brad, it's all good. You know, again, the campaign was fine or whatever, and the co-op missions are
none
fine.
of it's bad.
But none of it's bad.
You're like
None of it's bad.
satisfied with all of it.
Yes. And then of course, what I love, you know, just standard multiplayer.
Yeah.
My rotation is team deathmatch, domination, kill confirmed, and headquarters. I like those.
Which one's headquarters?
Headquarters is one base or 1 point.
Oh, okay,
Domination
fight
is
over
the
it.
3.
Okay.
Headquarters is 1. It's out of control.
I like kill confirmed. That's where you
Love
get the dog
kill
tags,
confirmed.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that mode.
Love kill confirmed.
Reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 2.
I like the weapon one, but I forget what it's called. Where you
Gun game?
gun game, yeah.
Gun game. I don't think gun game's in here yet. I haven't seen
Got
any
it.
gun game. Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
introduce a lot of stuff.
But what they did, Brad, and we've done it together, they added the good old shoot house.
Yeah. You're like, shoot house. I was like, what?
Shoot house.
Shoot house is a madhouse.
I like to play a shoot house before I go to bed at night, just as a little closer.
What, so you can get ramped up? It's like taking a shot of a 5-hour energy
Yeah.
before bed.
Just a quick shoot house. But The maps are great. I love these maps this time around. I'm sorry, I don't remember the names. I was going to do it.
I'm not speaking from like a gameplay perspective because I've not played this game enough, but I enjoyed going through like the racetrack map.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a cool map. This is fun.
So, Brett, they've got it all, man. The maps look cool, and they're fun to be in, which is huge, you know. Modern Warfare 1, like, kind of had some filler maps, where it's just, like, random village, like, whatever. Like, you know, random building, whatever. This has the border crossing, which is such a good map. There's cars all in it, and these cars explode and kill you straight away. So people are just like throwing grenades, shooting these cars. The cars just keep exploding.
That's amazing.
You can die like 5 times in like a minute. It's just out of control. There's like long distance thing. There's like this corridor tunnel thing on the side of the map, and it's just a death trap going in there. You got snipers going in, you got people trying to come around the back in there. Just really great maps that offer these strategic scenarios. You got the other one where it's like kind of a restaurant building, and there's like this little catwalk above that has a good vantage point of everyone, but like anyone on either side can just take you out really quick. So there's just like so many good maps in here, dude.
Big part of Call of Duty is always kill streaks.
Yeah.
Now, in Vanguard, I remember this is what I liked a lot. You would get like it was like an RC tank.
Yeah.
I would just like set it out there and they would blow up, dude. It was so fun, dude. People get so mad. How are the kill streaks in this one? How are you feeling? I did a couple, like I had the stock ones, you know, you do the missile. I'm like, oh, classic, whatever.
Cruise missile, yeah.
Is there a nuke in this game?
No, the maximum is the Juggernaut.
What is that?
You get a minigun.
Whoa.
And full, insane body armor.
Whoa.
You are a
Really?
walking tank.
That's cool.
25 kills.
That's cool.
I'll never do it.
I like that.
I'll just never do it.
That is sick, that.
I know.
That's fun reward.
I think they've had it before. They've had the Juggernaut before, yeah. But the kill streaks, I'm too bad. I can't get the kill streaks. You know, I usually mess around with the basics. The biggest one I do is like the cruise missile, or like the sentry turret is really strong. You throw a freaking turret down and it just mows people down. Or like a bombing run. You know, you can have planes go in and
an airstrike thing.
Yeah. So like the good high end stuff, I'm just straight up not good enough to get that. So yeah. But I think you can. It's cool because you can do the kill streaks and score streaks. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to get kills in a row. You can do it the points or whatever. So you just get a bunch of points and then you'll unlock it, which is nice too. It kind of helps me out. But
how's the progression?
Progression is so.
Big part of Call
I'm
of Duty.
so glad you asked this, dude. This is why I'm already level cap in this game, dude. Because of this progression, it is so addicting. It's one of the most addicting I've ever been to the progression, because you're given you're given a gun and you level it up, nothing new, and you unlock attachments for that gun. But then when you get to the max level, you can tune it. Pretty basic tuning, nothing crazy. We're not Gran Turismo 7 here.
Yeah, of course.
You can tune your attachments to have more or less of what it does. Like if something is, say you put something on for stability, you can tweak it to be like, all right, even more stability, but at the cost of recoil, or you get me. So you can like micromanage it. Where it gets really interesting though and addicting is that if you level up some guns, it'll unlock other guns that are connected to it.
Got it.
And then when you level that gun up, it'll give you even more attachments for that gun.
It's a chase.
So it's this chase of like leveling up all these guns, getting all the attachments, and then obviously people are obsessed with like camos and weapon skins and all that you're getting. So really smart progression, really addicting.
Now, one thing I think is interesting about this game, and I think this has been in other games, I'm not sure, but it seemed more noticeable to me this time around, is the third-person mode.
Yeah.
It seems like they're leaning into that more.
Yeah.
Now, I'm on the boat of I think this will be the future of Call of Duty of both. You'll be able to do both whenever you want.
Yeah.
Not only do a lot of people like playing in third person, is like more incentive for those skins, baby.
Oh yeah,
way more.
sell those skins.
Way
dude.
more.
Yep, absolutely.
You
need to
buy
see
your John
character.
McClane, you can actually see John McClane most of the
Exactly.
time. Your dreads or whatever like that. I think it's a smart idea. to do.
Season 1 Battle Pass needs a little work. Pretty weak.
Yeah, it's kind of weak. I looked
weak.
at it, I was like,
Is
ugh.
third person just an option?
It's
or
a
is it
separate
An option.
mode.
Yeah, it's a mode.
It's a mode right now.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what
but
thought,
I
'cause
feel
when we
like
did Warzone, it was like a different mode.
Yeah, I think down the line they might like just tweak it more and more and more. It'll be becoming more
Yeah.
thing. How do you feel about it? We did some. It seemed okay. Like I prefer first person.
I
Like
prefer first.
I think it's better playing it first. But
Yeah. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's fine. But if I'm playing Call of Duty, I like playing it.
it's definitely
first.
disconnected still. I feel like they haven't nailed it yet.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of they're like experimenting with
Yeah,
it
it almost
more and
feels
more
like,
and more.
like playing like Fallout or something.
yeah. We're
Not
Fallout.
really, but you
Dude,
know,
in
it's-
Fallout, you're like,
Shades of Fallout.
it's better than Fallout.
Shades.
It's
of it.
better than Fallout.
It's way better.
Fallout's is not good.
but it just doesn't feel entirely like you're connected to your character in the same way.
It's the perfect comparison. I love it.
Think
I
about
love
like
it. It's so good, blood.
this is a different comparison because the maps aren't the same. But I think of like Battlefront when they came back. It's like, yo, you got first or third, whatever you want, kind of thing.
God, when you're a freaking like Jedi or Sith, the third person dude.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you want to see that, you know.
Yeah, I wanna
especially 'cause
see
you got a
Darth Maul
lightsaber, you know?
spinning
I
around.
want to see that. I want to see Palpatine like
Yo, let's hop in, dude.
Battlefront.
Yo, let's hop in. Just a round or two.
I did a couple of years ago actually.
Dude.
years ago.
I'm hopping in.
But that game's been out for a long time, blood.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
Like you reviewed
Like, oh,
that
yeah, I just
GT,
did
didn't you? That was a game trailer. I think when you
Yeah.
reviewed that. It's been a
When they
long
had the
time.
crazy like pay to win
Pay to win
shit.
grenades.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. But I am just I will say I haven't played in a week, obviously because I've been super busy and doing other shit. And now Fortnite just had a new chapter and
really solid.
Yeah, and I've
Really
already hit prestige rank 1.
Take a little break.
Beat the campaign. So I don't have as much of an itch right now.
It'll come back around.
But absolutely. They're gonna add shipment soon, which is basically shoot house, but on a boat. Yes. I just love it so much.
House on a boat.
But I am just, I really, really think this is one of the stronger Call of Duties. Yeah.
You know what?
It's very, very strong.
We saw this game sold. It did all right, to say the least.
yeah.
It was like the best selling game
$800
of all time
million
or something like that.
Yeah.
Question for you two. Do you think the Modern Warfare name has more power than Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Because I kind of do at this point.
I do, yeah.
It does seem like it. Yeah.
And when it's together, when it's, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, And because I think Black Ops is a little more hardcore, like the Call of Duty aficionados, fucking love Black Ops, dude. That's like the hardcore Black Ops. But like Modern Warfare is so universal. It's so mainstream. It's just,
Yeah.
it's Modern Warfare. It has the legacy.
And like when they go back to the more historical stuff, there's just a lot of people that are starting into that.
Yep.
They,
Yeah.
want, want all their attachments and
Yeah.
gadgets and everything. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Because it's funny, on Thanksgiving, Mike came over, my cousin was there,
Yeah.
and he just got a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
He is the dude, like the guy out there, he had Madden and Call of Duty.
Boom.
And he's like, yeah, I came to this game Horizon. I haven't even played it yet. I was like, okay. I was like, all right.
Yep.
But it's just like, man, Modern Warfare, dude. It's just got that power.
Universal. Because it's just, anyone can just hop in. It's a good game to like pass the controller around to. You can play with your buddies.
So fun to just pass control around.
I will always, though, criticize Call of Duty for barely being a co-op game. Barely. Like, I'm playing with Brad and Grumbomb.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of us in a game. Sometimes we'll go silent for 5 minutes at a time and you're just doing your own thing,
Yeah.
And that's, like, I wish, like, Warzone, obviously, you get definitely more of that teamwork, which I love, and like search and destroy and stuff.
As I
You're
say,
a little more.
I think it's just on the mode kind of thing.
But even that, there's just like, it's just a little.
It definitely has more of a, you just go lone wolf kind of vibe to it for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's some there, but yeah, it's mostly feels like from what I've played. Just go run around, maybe see you on the map occasionally like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Which I guess is fine. That's what people love. A lot of people love about it.
Yeah. Because it is nice to just hop in anytime.
Yeah. Great game. Yeah, I think this is a good Call of Duty.
It is.
I think it's a really good Call of Duty. So if you've been I think this is a good one to come back to maybe.
If you've been gone for a while, this is it.
And it sounds like there's going to be no Call of Duty next year.
Yeah.
If you get this one, you'll be pretty good for a while.
And it's just kicking off. It's season 1. I mean, the other, we didn't even talk about DMZ mode, which is like an Escape from Tarkov.
So I wonder about that.
There's like multiple groups of 3. I think there's like 4 to 6. I don't know the exact number, but there's way less people than Warzone map. Warzone's 150. There's 3-person squads, and it's like Tarkov where you have to like go in, clear objectives, get loot, and extract. And it's still listed as beta in the game.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
Okay. Dude, there's even how cool is this? The addicting progression. There's a weapon that you have to like kill a boss and extract with to unlock it.
Wow.
Shit's cool. Love that shit. Yeah.
Give you incentive to play all the modes, I guess.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 seems really solid. A good one to hop into if you've been out for a while. Yep. All right, it's time for Sort It Out.
Yes.
In this segment, we're just going to be talking about what the segment's about, actually, is just kind of anything that's annoying in the industry for all you out there. You don't have to have one. We often do them if we have one. I guess I would just say for mine this time is, just these games, man, coming out just in bad states.
Yeah.
Trying to I know nothing's in the devs' hands, but I wish there was some way we could get games out in a better state than they have been a lot of times.
I agree, Brad.
Because it sucks.
Pokemon and Callisto.
Yeah, it sucks. It's you spend your hard-earned money, buy these games, dude, and it's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah. Because it's like, developer puts out a game that you can buy on a shelf, and the expectation is that it works.
Right.
They're like, you're putting your faith in them, and it sucks when that faith is betrayed oh, this game is out. It looks cool. I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on it.
Well, and also I think in Callisto's case, so much of it is again, just even being in that prison and that opening and everything is going down.
Yeah.
And for your experience to be stutter, 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 swinging the cameras, chop, 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 and it's you don't get that moment back.
Yeah.
You can play it again when it's patched or whatever, but when you're done, then that it's gone. You don't get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
There's obviously comeback stories in gaming, of course. Cyberpunk's a recent one where people are all about now and 14 now, but it's you still remember it. I still remember those games when they came out. When it's you can come about it, but it's not everyone's going to have that opportunity, though, to just come back on a huge way.
Yeah.
So,
I got one.
Yeah.
I got one.
Please.
Video games are coming out all the time.
Yes.
They're coming out,
Yes.
We're in 2022.
These are all true statements.
The year is not over.
Yes.
Why are we talking about goaties here when the year is not over and games are still coming out, and it's purely because you want the clicks? It is purely because I'm calling you out, all of you. You want the clicks. You're trying to get your goatee up for the hype. It's not right. Sort it out. Sacrifice your clicks for some integrity. Make sure you play the games that come out in the given year.
You can't play every game, of course. We know this.
Of course.
We do ours in January.
It's impossible to play everything.
Yeah, it is.
No matter what.
It is.
That is an unrealistic
I understand
expectation.
what you're saying. It's stuff's still coming out kind of thing.
And you want a little bit of breathing room to let it sit just a beat. Let the year sit a beat.
Sure.
We are in the
reflect on it.
We are in the boiling hot pot. November's crazy for games. October,
I think part of it though, Huber, is we're really we were saying games coming out all the time.
Yeah.
That didn't used to be the case. We're butting up against the traditional editorial schedule, marketing release schedule, all of this stuff, and it's usually December's just dead. It's you get December, you get anything past November 22nd, and it's there's nothing else coming out for the year.
Yeah.
And this year, it's not the case.
Not the case at all.
We're talking about Need for Speed and Callisto.
Need for Speed, Callisto, Crisis Core, River City Girls 2.
Yeah. The difficulty of, this I would have liked to have reviewed Need for Speed, but because you didn't send it out early, then I've got no time left to do it because of all the stuff and preparations for the general holiday break that everyone's gonna have. You know, and
Need for
like
Speed's gonna get snubbed.
even trying to like schedule some stuff with developers. They're like, you know what? They're about ready to go on holiday break, so I don't know if you'll be able to do that. And I'm like, thanks. You know, and it's, and that's the thing is, especially like when we were at game trailers, and we did have our Game of the Years then. One of the reasons the Game of Years happened the way they did is because we prepped all that crap. We worked like crazy the first couple of weeks of December.
No doubt.
And then that stuff just like filled the time that nobody was in the office.
That's awesome.
You know, and the same is very true of a lot of these other outlets. You know, and it's like everybody's going off.
Yeah.
But we have our Game of the Year stuff scheduled out for the next couple of weeks. So people are going to keep coming to the website and checking out everything.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely get it.
I get it, but
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't like
the times are changing.
yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about, like, do you think Keighley will ever move the date of the Game Awards or anything like that?
I'm curious because I had heard somebody say that he answered the question of why it was in December, but I didn't hear what the answer was.
Okay. Because there's many factors, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors.
But yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's weird because theoretically, yes, you know, the games from these couple of months or couple of weeks will be considered for next year. Yeah. But the mind space just isn't there.
Not to be biased here, but I will say way more moving parts in the Game Awards. Like
of
planning
course.
and like setting that
I'm
up.
not comparing us
But-
to that at all.
But like, still, yeah, it's like why the Oscars are in like February or something. It's like, you know, you let that year
let it breathe.
sit, you let it breathe, you look back on the year. Like,
Yeah. GDC is you know, mid-March. The BAFTAs happened a little bit later. You know, AIAS.
it's just a different vibe. You reflect back
DICE
on it rather than like being in it at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, DICE Awards are January sometime, usually mid-January, I think. But yeah, I think, you know, when you talk about like magazines and editorial outlets, most of them are doing them in December still.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some just going up. You know, they're starting to pop up. I've seen a handful already.
Yeah, we're getting to the
popping
time
up.
of the year. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what a lot of people could do about it, but yeah, like Blood said, I guess like people just being gone is like a huge part of it.
Yeah.
All right, we got some sorted outs from our listeners of, as always,
Love this so much.
this is from Dustin and I. Sorted out. I like this one. Summer Game Fest and E3. What is even happening here anymore? Now we're getting a Summer Game Fest event and E3 days away from each other. How many conferences do I have to watch? How stretched thin is this going to be? Are we going to see two CG Xbox trailers, but one is during SGF and the next is in E3? Sorted out. I love the announcements, but this is just getting confusing.
I mean, because Sony has pulled out of E3, you know.
Well,
We
E3
don't
is just
know
Well, yeah.
this
well,
year.
E3 is just a different thing.
I guess I'm just trying to say, like, historically, there's always been more than one, so this is just another one.
More conferences, you mean?
Yeah, there's always multiple conferences. Then
days.
that's how I look at this. That's how I look at Summer Game Fest. Is like, oh, the Summer Game Fest conference, and then it's then it'll be Microsoft
feels like
and Ubisoft.
there is more conferences than ever, though. Way more.
Yeah.
And it feels like they are spread out over way longer time now.
Yeah.
And like showing up, like I don't know how many, like you know, Day of the Dead. Like I don't know who does like multiple things or stuff like that, or like Games Radar or stuff like that. It's just like there's so many.
Yeah, because when
shows
E3 bowed out, then like everybody tried
Everyone
to, like,
filled in,
Well,
'cause,
we'll
yeah.
do it instead.
Yeah.
And now they're still doing
Are we gonna
it.
get that? Yeah, because E3 is like coming back.
Yeah,
this
we're
year,
gonna have another
so-
Guerrilla Collective, or we're gonna have another Future Games show, which you know I really am not a big fan of those.
Yeah.
And even like some of the smaller ones that filled in there, it's like, okay, you got some good games, but you gotta curate this a little better because it's just overwhelming. Because I think what's kind of wild about, you know, what happened with E3 being canceled and the pandemic and everything is it's sort of just like E3 was already a floodgate being opened up, but now we just like ripped it wide open.
Yeah.
You just blew up the whole dam.
Yeah.
You know?
For England
because E3, the stuff that was being shown at those press conferences was relatively stuff that was going to be at E3.
Yeah.
It was stuff that was going to be either on the show floor or behind the closed doors somewhere. Even if it was in a hotel room down the street, somebody had a physical space to show that game most of the time, unless it was like, something that was in a montage, at the end of Nintendo's conference or something like that. Now, because physical is not really even a factor, it's like any game in the world, in any stage of development whatsoever, if it's coming out next month or if it's coming out in 6 years,
Little Devil
it can
Inside.
show
Did that
up.
ever come out?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, where's that?
I've been waiting for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
It
need
just
that
kind
game.
of disappeared.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why we're in this weird mess, of everything happening.
Yeah.
Now the specifics of Summer Game Fest is just like, I don't really know where he's going with this.
Well, what's encouraging
Yeah.
is he addressed the length of the Game Awards this
Yeah,
year. I mean,
that
he
is true.
just said he just said it's going to be significantly shorter. And that was everyone's complaint of like, it's too long. You got too many ads, too many cars, like too many whatevers in there. And he's going to make it shorter. So him adapting on that leads
Yeah.
me to believe,
Yeah.
this Summer Game Fest
That
should be...
sounds good to me, but I wonder if things that will be shorter are things that I don't want to be shorter. Like some of the awards maybe just a little more brisk.
Yeah, I like
Right.
Some of these
everyone
moments
always
with-
criticize that.
Some of
and
these
I love
moments
the
with devs
awards.
just
Yeah.
a little too quick,
I like hearing
Maybe a
people
lot of the
talk
long ads
about
will
a
still
win.
be there, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful the show will be shorter in just general, but I hope it's shorter in the right areas.
Yeah.
What I'm, from what we know so far about what is being shown of Summer Game Fest, and what I'm hoping will essentially happen, is that it's basically just the kickoff press conference.
Yes.
It's like it's the press conference for people who don't have a press conference.
Yeah.
And so it will be a real live on stage thing. Maybe we can actually get some real live demos again, now that he's going to be have an audience and everything.
Yeah.
But probably not. I don't know. It feels like everyone's moved away from actual demos.
Because stuff could happen.
Yeah,
I
but
want it to
that's what I'm kind of hoping. And it's like that he's not going to try to put a show floor out there next to the E3 show floor or something
Two show
like that.
floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it was just like, okay, here's a press conference that everybody can attend. And then that will be the first one. And then
go from
Sony,
there.
EA, Microsoft, everybody else does
'Cause
their
they're
own
gonna do their
normal
own
press
thing,
conferences.
yeah.
And then we get E3.
And Nintendo, whatever they're going to do.
And we go on the show floor.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets sorted out.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be an interesting year. But I'm glad E3's back, I guess, in quotes. We'll see how it goes. And there's press days, I guess.
Yep.
So that's wonderful for us.
Good structure.
Yeah. This is from Joey Traverso. Sort it out. In Modern Warfare 2, why can't you see a timer for your double XP token after you activate it?
Sort it out.
It's 2022. I shouldn't have to use my phone as a stopwatch to add time a double XP token. Dumb as hell. Sort it out.
How long do these things last?
Like an hour?
They have 15, 30, 45 in an hour.
Yeah, that's whack, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'm popping my double XP, and then I'm like, wait, did I pop my double weapon XP? I don't know.
God.
I don't know.
Wait, they're
Sort it out.
separate?
Yeah. The weapon XP is the valuable one, dude.
I'm not gonna even
weird.
dive
Not
in.
even
Yes.
on the wavelength.
Way more like double XP, whatever. Get out of here. Double weapon XP is the real,
real deal.
one.
It's
Yeah,
the real
that's
juice.
that's the one you want. That's the one you want.
This is from Bino. Sort it out. I am sure most people will have heard about this.
The legend of Bino.
Some of the drama that's been unfolding in the competitive Smash Bros. Community over the past week at
Heard
this
about
point.
it? Do I know what's happening? I don't.
Same boat.
understand it,
Haven't
no.
even
Same
heard
boat.
about it.
There's been a lot of he said, she said between Nintendo, Panda, and Smash World Tour organizers, and it's in an ever-evolving situation that we may never know the full truth of. The bottom line, though, is that Smash World Tour had to cancel the final of their year-long circuit, allegedly largely due to the machinations of the now former CEO of Panda, and now Panda have been forced to cancel or indefinitely postpone their circuit final due to the backlash they have received and the mass exodus of talent in light of the allegations. This has caused a lot of disappointment, not to mention a significant financial loss throughout the community. And the fallout will have serious implications for the entire future of the competitive Smash Bros. Scene moving forward. Whatever the truth is, whoever's to blame, I think we can all agree that the situation really effing sucks. Sort it out. So yeah, I don't know about this situation that well, but I've seen things about it. This whole thing, the Smash community is in shambles right now. This Nintendo already hates Smash fan base. They have a real problem
Ultimate
with that.
only.
It's been a real chaos, and this is just like another huge blow to that whole scene. This group, Panda, a lot of people are resigning from the company over this kind of stuff. It's been brutal.
That is brutal because this is such a passionate and dedicated scene.
Yes,
it's not the only passionate and dedicated
Smash Bros, Melee.
Yeah.
Good lord, that game's old and people are still fiending for it.
Yeah. And it's like, just let the kids play.
It's all craziness, licensing. There's definitely people you can learn.
Let play because it's also let the kids make money.
Let the kids make money.
Once money's involved, it's all sketch.
Always, yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to. I can only half follow what's happened.
Yeah, I have not. I don't know.
It's so hard to even partially did something actually happen, or is it all backlash? I don't know.
There's
it's insane.
Plenty of FGC people out there. You can
but the guy
learn more from
resigned over it, so something to it. I guess.
Something was said.
Yeah.
Something was said or done.
Something was said or done.
I have no idea even what we're really talking about.
Yeah.
I just know that I want those Smash players who love the older Smashes to be able to play it. I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard.
I don't think that's even what this is about.
It's just like competitive Smash in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Smash as a fighting game scene, getting official support or something like that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's tough. Yeah. This is from Evan Reagan. Sort it out. Video game maps. Why are we still in a place where so many open world semi-open world games can't put together a map more detailed than a 2D drawing of the game world? In some cases, I understand that this is an aesthetic choice, like Elden Ring or Red Dead 2. And in those cases, I don't mind it. But why don't other games that don't worry as much about the maintaining immersion provide more detail? I'm looking at you, God of War Ragnarok. If I have to go underground to find a Berserker fight or an Yggdrasil portal, show me that the damn thing is underground. When indie games like Proteus can put together a fully explorable 3D map that lets me fly a camera through every room in a whole level, I feel like AAA games should at least be able to keep pace with that. They don't have to be as detailed as Proteus, but some third dimension detail can't be too much to ask. Sort it out.
I actually don't usually like maps in games. They take me out of it. I just did a replay of Resident Evil 2. And
is it the original?
Yeah. And there's no color-coded BS where it's like, hey, this room still has things in it. Better clear it. Mm-hmm. You just need to know. You need to immerse yourself and pay attention and remember and get in there. And I got lost for a bit and it was freaking awesome.
You know what'd be cool is if the harder difficulties got rid of that.
Yes, please.
Like hardcore and above.
Dude, it just makes it so artificial and mechanical. Like every Resident Evil, the last bunch, it's just has killed the exploration for me because
because everything's done in this room.
Map, room, okay, it's blue, next, oh, it's red now, okay, search, okay, map, still red, okay, search, and it's just dude,
sure.
Get out of here.
It could be a post-game thing to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than while you're in the moment while you're trying to play it. Because, I had that with Village, where it's it just took me out.
Dude, yeah.
And I think it's a fairly good map, but it's just like you're saying.
Too good of a map.
That color coding.
It's too good. Truly.
Too good.
Yeah. Whereas God of War, dude, I love that it's gives you kind of the...
I don't like that map.
The map is whatever. It's all about the compass. And that keeps you in the world. That helps you explore that. You're still sniffing things out and you've got the compass there. It's do you need a map? Do you? Because then I think of open world maps, especially I think of Assassin's Creed and GTA even. It just becomes map, okay, go there, collect it, do that, okay, go to this radio tower, okay, do that. And it's just you're playing the map at that point. Sometimes that's how I feel because it's so artificial and mechanical. It's Yeah, that's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I have a weird thing
Well,
with
like,
maps.
how do you feel about Evan's part about God of War, like something being underground and he can't really tell, and I guess they can't figure out how to get
when
to
you're
it.
talking about
Sure.
like the Apple Core in Vanaheim, there's a couple of those spots where like they're like little mini mazes, you know, and especially trying to go back into the Apple Core and like some of the other paths that open up. It's like, yeah, when you're trying to just like, I just want to get back to that Berserker fight.
Sure.
And you're just like winding your way through, trying to remember the layout from something you did 20, 30 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah,
and they like, the Mystic Gateways that's there, like, I think you have to like burn a bush to open it up. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you have to go in the hard way first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky balance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
I love it in God of War because I think it is the best of both worlds. I think it hits the most people universally where I don't feel like it's holding my hand, but it's still there for a point of reference. And the compass obviously is a very strong tool. Mm-hmm. So I think God of War is onto something and they got it really right.
I really like maps that give you an idea, I guess. I guess it depends on the game. Like, it gives me an idea of what's going on in my surrounding, but it's not like overly delivering it. Like, some games I think it's really cool, like especially like I think in Metroid Prime Blood, the map in that was like legendary, but it made total sense being in that game. I think of like Fallen Order, you know, like Star Wars, you can that full 3D map. But I think of Elden Ring, like I do like that map, but it's like literally just a drawing on it, but like, makes sense in the world. But dude, I spent a long time trying to figure out how to get up somewhere in the game. I was in Elden Ring. When I was reviewing the game, there is this part of the map in the lower left of the map. It's very high, like plateau up there. And I spent a long time trying to figure out how to get up that damn thing. A long time.
I know.
But eventually you get up there from a quest line. I was like, kind of thing. But I spent so much time.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I wish I knew. But at the same time, it's cool when like I have an idea of where something is, but I don't know how to get there quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no definitive thing for it, I guess.
There absolutely is no definitive thing for maps.
Yeah, I will say
love that a higher difficulty would be.
I do think though that like in general, 3D maps are they're too much to try to, like, you just get confused.
Yeah, they can be.
You can get really lost in 3D maps.
I kind of like some 3D maps. I think they're really cool. Mm-hmm. Like I like the one in Fallen Order. I know that was kind of overwhelming for a lot of people, but I was like whoop, really zoned in with it. It made sense to me.
Pentiment has actually a pretty good map.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Whatever.
The new one I'm thinking of.
Now it's time for Keep It Up. The exact opposite of Sorted Out.
Keep it up.
Something that we're digging in the game industry. Anything? You got anything you're digging? You're like, yeah.
Indies, dude, keep it up. Firing on all cylinders. 2022, my personal favorite year for indie games ever in my entire life. Keep it up, devs. Crushing it.
Anything, Blood?
I don't know. I'm not good with these point blank things.
Same thing on every episode, Blood.
Yeah, I know.
Keep it up.
Keep it up, Blood. Keep it up.
Need for Speed doing some cool shit, Blood.
Need for Speed's doing some cool shit.
Keep it up.
That's true. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep those patches coming, I guess. Don't leave your game to die, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's a bad state, keep working on it. Like, still working on Battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to...
3.1 just came out.
I'm probably not going back. That ship sailed for me.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they're trying to fix it. Like, it came out of state it should not have been.
No.
But at least it just is not completely dead, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's better than, like, nothing.
Keep patching.
Keep patching those games. Some cool patches sometimes. We got to Keep It Up from Cathal Fallon. Keep it up. Oh, this is funny. Releasing patches coming up to Christmas must be rough, so thank you for all the hard work, game devs.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is from Stomps. Keep it up. When I boot my Switch, it's quick, it's dark themed, but most importantly, it doesn't have ads. Thanks Switch for taking the high road. Keep it up, Nintendo. Wow, that's funny.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. It's why? Because it's bare bones as hell. Switch is bare bones, but hey, there's something clean about it. I will.
I mean,
sleek.
It was really necessary after how bad the Wii U menu performed.
Blood, it was so bad.
For it to just be like, it's snappy. There it is. There's your games.
Yeah.
You look through your whole library. If you got to, like, I've got like hundreds of games that get downloaded to my Switch because of codes.
Yeah.
He's like, just scroll through them,
dude.
You know?
Wii U, man, what a time. Dark times.
Dark times.
Very depressing, dude. Good Lord. Good God, dude. Batman.
You said that, dude.
Arkham City Armored Edition or whatever. Good Lord.
But
You said it
to
with
their-
like you were distraught.
I was there.
Yeah, we lived it.
We were there, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, to their point, like, you know, the PlayStation dashboard is like just all this
Yeah.
extra weird like layers of stuff, and I'm like, what even is this? Sometimes I'm like, why is this here? And it's just like, yeah, it's
Well,
an
because
app.
Nintendo is just always behind the times, Blood. They haven't got there yet. Next time, maybe. They'll get around to that more. Okay, this is from Chris Freddick. Keep it up. While Microsoft announces all new games will be $70 and most other big publishers have done the same, Capcom is still charging $60. Keep it up. Well, Chris, I don't think that will last probably that much longer. I'm sure they will fall right in line.
Yeah, especially because Xbox, right? Just
Yeah, that's what
That's what-
this
yeah, that's what
is.
you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah. Just because of that,
It's only a matter of
is-
time.
Yeah,
This is the new standard.
yeah.
So
Following the
get it while you can.
yeah. You think Resident Evil 4 will be?
I don't know. You can
60
pre-order now. I have no idea.
Yeah,
what it
they
is.
might have already set that price.
Yeah, it might be set already, but within a year, maybe in a year by now, probably.
Resident Evil 9.
The question is, will Nintendo's next system be $70? Blood. The games.
Oh, next system?
50.
I
They're going the other way.
I could see them doing either one.
Yeah.
I could see them going either way.
Yeah, right.
I know.
They have not dropped the Switch price once. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, dude. Love it though. And this is from Francisco. Keep it up. Gender inclusivity. In Midnight Sun's character creation is completely ungendered and has no option locked behind body types, alongside general neutral writing that doesn't assign pronouns to your character.
Awesome.
I like games where you can just wear whatever you want, I guess, you know?
Totally.
Like the hairstyles,
Let me
you
just-
can have any hairstyle.
Yeah, let me make and be and
fine.
do whatever.
Like if I want to make a total weirdo, which I often do.
a big ogre.
Yeah,
I
which
love
I
the
have to,
big
like-
ogres, like in
Some of you saw
Dark Tide.
Yeah, some of you saw Dusty Dallas out there.
Dusty Dallas.
They let me do what I wanted.
Legend.
That game sucks, but they let me do what I want.
Dusty Dallas.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like, I don't know if it actually 100% accomplishes the goal.
No,
Because it's like if you want to, if you want to be represented by a character, then you want to kind of represent yourself. If you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make somebody that looks like you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's not male or female, and it's like, well, I don't know if that still necessarily fits me.
No, yeah. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think like they're gonna keep just adding more and more. I guess blood.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get to a point where like more people are happy. I guess, but
But I understand the
More
game design
options is
challenge
better.
of, especially if you have VO or something, and it's like,
Oh, sure.
we've
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
have like
yeah. I get that.
every possible
yeah, I get
potential
that.
pronouns that could be there.
Yeah. But like I guess they're just adding more options. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
whatever.
It's important, dude. It's good.
And
Love it.
as always, got some shout outs. These are from some of our most generous Patreon supporters out there. For our shout outs, we got Jabbawabs, Elthanas, and Greg the Dark Knight Kettering. Callisto Protocol shout out. Jacob.
Shout out.
Shout out! Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Nice.
I was going to make you do Need for Speed, but that's good too. Alrighty. Huber, this game you have not shut up about. You keep talking about this a lot.
Holy shit, dude.
Citizen Sleeper. Fuck. I didn't hear about this till pretty recently. Tell us about it.
Wow, I love this.
What the hell is this game?
So I'm a sad dude. Mm-hmm. Especially lately.
Right.
This has been one of the worst years of my life.
Right.
And when I'm sad, I like to experience sad things.
You
but
do,
even
yeah.
more than that, I like to experience melancholic things.
Mm.
Melancholy, where it's like sad, but not like overly depressing. There's just there's just a
hint.
tinge.
Little spice?
A tinge of sadness to Citizen Sleeper, dude, that just hits me. This game is so good. I cannot stop thinking about it. As soon as I beat it, I wanted to go back in and beat it again. I'm definitely going to beat it again within the next month or so. Like 5-6 hour game, pretty chill. But it is text-based, a lot of reading. The music is amazing. I just wish it would play more. There's a lot of times when it's just like silent. And it's just like, yo, give me that sick soundtrack. I listen to it when I write now, but it's so great. But this is a game where you pick a character. There's like 3 different types. And you basically show up on this space station. You know, you were in like a cargo ship. And this guy like takes you out of the cargo ship and you're on this space station now. And you can go, you know, it's definitely follow your own path. You know, it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep your head down and just work on the station? Do you want to get involved in like some maybe criminal or other kind of dealings? Do you want to find answers to the mystery of how you got here? So it is like, you know, find your own way. And the way it does that is great. You know, it has a lot in common with tabletop games where it's days. So you'll have a day, right? So let me walk you through a day. You wake up in a day and you're given dice. Now those dice are basically your actions. So it'll be like, you know, 1 to 6 or whatever dice. And so there's spots on the map, you know, you're not walking around or anything. Basically, it's just isometric, looking at the space station, and a lot of text. The text, though, and the art and the music, it all pulls you in. Like it sounds like maybe it's not immersive, but I was so immersed playing this game. Like it's like almost like reading a book where you're just like so caught up in it. It's so well written. There's so much good lore and details and characters. So with those dice, then, it'll be like, okay, you need to make money. Dude, economy is so important in this game, dude, because you need to eat. You gotta buy food to eat. And if you don't eat, you're this like robot character and your body is shutting down because you belong to this like high-powered sketch corporation. You're on the run and they're shutting your body down, dude. Your body's going down, so you gotta keep your body going. So with those dice, then it'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go work on like the scrap yard. Throw some dice in. The dice roll can be like, you know, you do one and it'll be like, okay, we did really well. We got some energy or some money. Awesome. If they're bad, it'll be like, you know, maybe you lose some energy. These locations too have like meters that fill up. Like if you work at the scrapyard enough, you're gaining level there, and that'll lead to other story opportunities. So you just discover these stories naturally. It's like, oh, where do I want to go? Who do I find?
Wait, I'm sorry. You say you level up? Is that what you said?
Yeah, there's leveling up. Yeah,
so you can invest, I guess, in like stats to help you.
Yeah.
Be the character you want to be more.
Yeah, there are stats. It's pretty basic stats.
Yeah.
But basically, like, there's categories, and if you level up a stat, maybe it'll give you like a +1 on these types of rolls, kind of like that, basically. Okay. And then there's like little abilities too, like, you know, you can rest at your base or whatever, and that'll give you some more energy, or just basic stats, but enough to be like, yo, I'm getting invested in the building of my character. But yeah, so all the dice and like managing that stuff is so simple. I know it sounds confusing. It's kind of hard to explain. There's a lot going on, but it's like really basic.
Well, it sounds like you can make a choice and you roll for it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, am I gonna work? Am I going to?
Yeah, you make your choice, and depending on how high your roll is, the effective it is.
Yes,
you roll 10s or whatever. You get max reward.
Yeah, and it's like, what do I want to commit my dice to and my days to? Yeah, because then there's looming threats, dude. Fucking bounty hunters coming to the station. What are you gonna do? You know, then you can get caught up just in all these side stories. They're so well done, dude. I can't even handle how well done they are. And again, I'm talking about that replay value. Like, I got caught up in some things maybe I didn't want to necessarily get caught up in. Next time around, like, I'm gonna focus maybe over here instead of over there. Like,
so you don't walk around at all as this character?
Nope.
You don't? Do you have like a visual representation of your character? Like,
yeah, you can see your character. You can see your character.
Okay.
Yeah. You pick one of like 3 before you go. It's so immersive. Oh my God.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't usually like games like this.
I know.
I usually get bored. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's enough here for me to stay interested in this?
I think the stories are strong, dude. And I know you liked Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, obviously it's not as like, the high budget Cyberpunk.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Buggy game, high budget as shit. Good now. The stories in that are amazing. Like I felt, and I'm bringing it up because I just got through Cyberpunk this year. I was equally as invested at least in these stories. Like,
is there enough breaks in between just reading stuff? Like you read something, you do a big thing. Is there like a little breather moment or something like that to help separate it? So it doesn't feel like you're turning one page to another where you're literally reading a book.
I will say there are some periods of the game where it's like you're grinding out maybe something. You're grinding out the working here or like maybe doing this thing for someone where it becomes like quicker. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to go here. I'm going to roll my dice, do this, done for the day, go back to sleep, rinse and repeat.
Nothing like Disco Elysium, though. What I did like about Disco Elysium is like there's a lot of reading, of course, but you do wander around this town actually.
Totally.
So it's nothing like that. But you think you're thinking the writing is just good enough though on its own.
I really do. But similar to Disco Elysium, though, it seems like a cop out to say it, but it's like you really got to be in the mood for this.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
really got to be in the mood
Totally.
to Pentiment. I could say the same thing.
Yeah,
you're walking around in Pentiment, but like you got to be in the mood.
Yeah. To read,
to just
get immersed into
so immersed.
Is there voice acting in this?
No voice acting. That's why I haven't streamed this game, because you would just be staring at the text, and I don't want to be reading for 2 hours or 3 hours on stream.
Cool. So, you said it's like 5 hours?
But
there's a lot of replay value.
Good replay value.
I think it's probably a good length.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. If you don't have Game Pass, it's $20.
Cool.
The mood and the atmosphere and the stories are top tier.
Cool. Some of the decisions.
Go ahead. Really quick, because like you're not walking around, but like because the game is so well written, you fill in those spaces in your mind, and then it has really good art of characters. So like, and you can zoom in, kind of. It's like rudimentary, but you can like zoom in on the station. But it's like. It's just so imaginative. I just kept filling in layer after layer after layer of like the environment and the story and the lore in my brain. Like your brain is doing the heavy lifting. Like, and it's so well done.
You said this game has skill checks. I think skill checks are really fun. They can be really fun.
Yeah.
Do they work well in this game, where you feel like that's fair? I think obviously there's a random element to it, but do you think it's some of the better
because
skill checks in games?
Yeah, because the dice are being rolled technically, but there are still, like if you have a 6 die, it's no matter what a good outcome.
Okay.
But there's a chance it'll be the best possible outcome.
Okay.
If you have a 1 die, odds are it's going to be a bad outcome.
Yeah.
So there's enough times where it's like, okay, I'm going to save. The strategy is like using which die where.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then depending on your energy level, you have more die. So it's like, okay, do I want to burn all my money because now I have 3 instead of 5? Or should I wait as long as I can and rock 3 for a while, go down to 2, and then spend a bunch of money to get back up to 5? It's like, so there's some good strategy there. And yeah, and just leveling up the areas. Again, I don't know if I explained that well enough. Let me give you an example. Like, there's this chef, and it's like, when you eat at that place, they'll tell you a story, and that'll fill in a chunk. There's 3 empty chunks. You go back another day, eat a meal, fill up that chunk. When all 3 chunks are leveled up, that'll lead to something special.
Okay.
And that happens everywhere. There are some that have like 30 chunks, dude, where it's like, yo, you got to commit to that job if you want to level it up.
Cool.
Yeah. But if you like sci-fi story, like, dude, expand.
I think you did a good job of selling this game.
Good. I hope so.
Like,
I don't feel like I did. I hope so, because this game is awesome.
I will try this game, obviously.
Yes.
I hope I like it. I don't know. I usually don't like games like this, but I'm absolutely willing to give it a shot. I think the length is a very appealing thing about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about it, Blood? You feeling good about it? Sound cool?
Yeah, it is hard for me to get a full picture of it.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, kind of like you're saying, kind of choose your own adventure aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting to see what it might be.
I think it's very easy to get invested in the story, and that is why people should play it. I really do.
Cool.
Yeah. It's very easy to get invested.
I feel like there's always... This is always like... these games to me are always like game journalist bait. They always love games like this. Always games like this.
Yeah.
All the time.
Everyone...
Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a very popular thing I've noticed among a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, to me, this was worth it. This lives up to it.
Do you want me to throw gas all over the place right now?
Sure.
Do you want me to trigger everyone watching?
Yeah.
13 Sentinels is like a dialogue game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't like that game.
There was some like turn-based action shit in there that's whatever.
Right, yeah.
But like that game is so up its own ass for me
Okay.
that like it was almost impossible to connect to any character because it just felt so pretentious.
Got it.
Whereas Citizen Sleeper is just like low-key, understated, mellow.
Sure. Easy to follow.
chill. Yes.
All right.
Cool characters. It's not trying to be all hip. It's just a cool game.
Just trying to be... Just doing its own thing.
So mad. Everyone is so mad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about this game, so...
Yeah.
It's probably a really good game. And our last game, Blood, I'm so curious because I've always wanted to play these. You've been playing Return to Monkey Island.
Yeah.
The sequel... There's been a lot of Monkey Island games. Or I don't know how many, but there's been multiple Monkey Island games. Now...
I want to say there were 2 before.
Yeah, there's like Monkey Island... Something else. Yeah, whatever. Anyways... You don't have a lot of experience with the old original ones, do you? No, not at all.
Thing. Like that's why we're talking about this so late after they came out.
Yeah, so tell me about this.
Yeah, because I feel like they announced this and then it came out really quick for one, and then when it came out, it was just like I've got, I've heard of these games. I didn't have a PC at the time these games came out. I really don't have like the experience. I haven't gone back and played them. And so, it was intimidating. I was like, I'd have to catch up before playing this. And then I heard people say, like, oh, it actually does a pretty good job of, bringing in newcomers. And I think that's it's both true and sort of not true. Like, there is a scrapbook that sort of like gives you like the basics of what happened before to lead up to this point. But there is like also a lot of characters that you just run into and it's like, oh, hey, it's you. And I'm like, I don't know you, like old jokes, like there's still a guy in there in the bar who was promoting Loom, which was like an Easter egg in one of the original games.
That's cute. I like that.
He's still promoting the game, even though I don't even know if you can buy Loom anymore. It's like... but yeah, so there's definitely like a lot of references and a lot of jokes and things in there for the fans, for people that already know this series. But it is, it is still approachable. I'm still having a good time with it. And it is very much in the vein of those classic adventure games and leaning into even the stuff that we will make fun of. Leaning into like this random object goes with that random object, or like you can't just do the obvious thing. It's like, it's like you need a mop. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just take this mop. It's like, no, you can't have my mop. Mop has a spiritual connection to you, and you have to go on a journey to go find the mop. And I'm like, what? and so like, how do I get a mop? You have to go into the forest and get the handle off the mop tree. And I'm like, okay, where's the mop tree? And it's like, oh, you have to, discover that for yourself. It's like, and eventually it's like, okay, it's like I have to figure out how to get like a splinter off of this mop, so then I can have a map guy make a map to get me to the mop tree in the forest. Yeah, and because the forest is like the lost woods.
Hell yeah.
And it's like if you go the same direction twice, you just wind up back at the beginning.
Yes.
And so some of that stuff, it's like that, like. It's fun, but it's also still kind of straightforward. But then there was another one where they do give you a hint book, which is nice. Because there was another one where she was just like... It's like the bite of 1,000 needles. you need to get the bite of 1,000 needles. And I'm like, I've already been across this whole map. I don't know what that means. And so I did the hint, and then when they gave me the hint, it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I would have had to have like walked through every screen all over again until I maybe figured it out. Maybe I didn't figure it out, But there's a lot of fun interactions. So, and this actually, it has sort of like a Princess Bride-ish element to it in that when you first start the game, you're actually like playing as the main character's kid, and like you do the tutorials as these kids, and like, it's like you gotta like find a way to like get some hot dogs, and then like, you like, talk to this old couple, and like you go to the wishing well, and you can like choose what kind of wish to make, and all. And one thing that was really funny is just like a simple tutorial for something that, like, you probably don't need to explain that much, but they made a joke out of it, is like there's a big anchor there, and there's this girl, and they teach you how to use the skip dialogue button by just having this girl go off about anchors. And I'm sure if you listen to everything, it would probably be 10 minutes of dialogue.
Wow. Crap.
And it's just like, here, this is how you use the skip button.
That's funny.
And then once you're done with a thing, then you can push like left on the D-pad or whatever to see dialogue if you missed it or you need a reminder or whatever. So I thought that was really like a fun, like clever way to do about this. Another thing that I appreciate with a lot of these point and click style adventures is like similar to Case of the Golden Idol, rather than you having to pixel hunt and figure out like what can I interact with in this scene. It's like they have like little bubbles that'll pop up, and so like you just like I'm playing on PlayStation, and so you can just like use the analog stick to like pop over to the bubble that you want to interact with.
Yeah.
And so now you know that like if you clicked on all the bubbles, you clicked on everything that there is to do in the scene. And similarly with like taking an item out of your inventory, if it's not going to do anything, there'll just be like a little no symbol.
Got it. So you're not wasting your time.
So you're not just wasting a lot of time like trying to figure out if this does something or not.
Has there been any like weird where you're standing kind of things? Like you're not standing 2 pixels over, so it's not properly working or whatever, the thing you're trying to interact with.
I haven't had anything quite like that. There was a thing that even though I haven't played Monkey Island, I have played some of the other games like Maniac Mansion, and like even this has like it still has the scum bar, SCUMM. Scum. The old the old
Yule scum.
Engine.
Rebel scum.
Because MM stands for Maniac Mansion.
Yeah.
And there was like early on in that tutorial where like you're looking for coins to buy hot dogs. Cool. And you like take the key to the outhouse, and you're like looking for coins in the outhouse, and there's like some gross thing on the ground, and you click on it, and the character's like, "I'm not putting my hand in that." And that was like a total Maniac Mansion moment for me, because they have like a lot of those lines in there.
I'm doing that.
Put my hand in
where
there.
the characters just talk back to you.
That's funny.
That's perfect.
Scheme sounds really wholesome, Blood.
Yeah, and it's got really great voice acting. It's got really great writing.
Nice.
It is a joke game.
Yeah,
they're just constantly making jokes about things and doing oddball stuff.
Quips.
Yeah. Really big, bold.
It's been a long time though for Monkey Island. So
let him quip. Let him
great
quip.
art.
Yeah.
Peter McConnell is one of like I think 3 composers doing music in there.
Cool.
And
I love the look of it, dude. I love the
yeah,
look of
the look
I
of
think
it is
it looks
so great.
cool.
The scaling of characters like moving from the foreground to the background looks really nice. And again, even though I haven't played the originals, it's interesting to see them like even like there's like a map screen of the first island that you're on. And as you're walking around to like parts of the map that look like they're empty, and it's like, oh, this is where such and such used to be.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
It'll kind of call those things back towards like either help you remember or just kind of clue you in about the things that happened in previous games.
Well, now I have to play the first one. I have to now. You're saying stuff like this. Like, I need the context. But they did do like a remaster of it, so
it's
pretty clean.
They've kept those out there, but I do think that you can get into this. You
No
can have
blood.
a good time.
Yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
sure you can.
Sick.
Cool.
Talking about weird things. To borrow a book from a character who is now the governor. She's still mad at you from a previous book that you borrowed.
Oh,
Hilarious.
And didn't return.
It's kind of like Pentiment, actually. It's funny.
So you go to the voodoo shop and buy a forgiveness frog. And then you have to write your apology on the forgiveness frog. But you also have to pay attention to things in the environment to actually include details that are accurate to the character.
Damn. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You gotta pay attention.
There's a lot of good narrative games, it seems like, this year. Like,
Yeah.
very narrative-focused games this year.
That, Pentiment, Citizen Sleeper, probably some more.
Blowing up.
Norco, dude, yes, so many.
Cool. Anything else, Blood? It sounds really fun.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I've only played it,
Yeah,
a
you're
couple
just
of hours.
diving
Like
in.
each one of these games is like, okay, play this Friday night, play this Saturday night, play this Sunday
Yeah.
night, whatever.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Sounds cool. All right. It's time for some emails. Thank you for sending in those emails. If you would like to, once again, join us on patreon.com. Just $5. You can submit questions for this, and you can join our awesome Discord. Lots of good chatter in there. Love popping in and see what everyone's talking about, what games they're talking about. Always fun. All right, this first question is from Irigos. Hello, allies. I was wondering, what are your thoughts on games not lifting embargo until the release date? Callisto Protocol being the latest example. From a consumer point of view, it seems shady as you're trying to hide something. Instead of the narrative being a celebration of the release, the discourse around Callisto Protocol has been mixed at best. My question to you is, what exactly is the benefit of that approach? Who makes the calls behind the scenes? Is it the publisher or developer decision? Personally, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense to start off on the wrong foot with your potential customer base. Thank you for everything you do. Love and respect, Irigos.
I mean, I'll take release day embargo over release day sending out code.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Bloodworth.
That's another thing that happens.
Sure does.
Quite a bit.
I almost wish the embargo kind of... Maybe I'll change my mind at the end of this conversation, but hear me out. I kind of like when reviews are not out when a game comes out, because the narrative has not been written. And like everyone is experiencing that game in that moment, and that is a magical feeling, and like making up their opinions in that moment. Of course, reviews go up then, like Callisto, they went right when the game came out, but like everyone's playing it. They're not looking at that, and they haven't had time to like analyze and digest and scrape through all those reviews.
Sure.
So there's something that I like about the community, like kind of reviewing the game together in a way. I don't know, but obviously that can snowball into pure chaos.
Yeah, I mean, that was the Bethesda argument
that's like
when
the
they did that for a
sentimental-
couple of years, and nobody was a fan of that. And and Callisto's a perfect example. When you look at how the PC version is,
that becomes the narrative.
Yeah, that it's like it would have overshadowed things anyways.
Yeah.
That this thing is a mess, right? And in a way, it's like, it's odd because it's like if you, I don't know. It's just you kind of have to have the technical side of it, even if most of the time like that's not really an issue.
Yeah.
It's like I understand what you're saying. It's like everyone going in blind, but some people going in blind, but they're $60, $70 is not very appreciated.
Totally, there's that aspect, of course.
Yeah, it's weird because you get examples like Callisto where it probably didn't turn out the way they wanted, but then you get examples like Need for Speed where it's like, this is good.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anyone know about this? It's like a weird thing.
That's a fun moment. Everyone's like, what the frick? Need for Speed's amazing.
Fun moment, but okay, so there's two things.
Yeah.
If your game gets reviews early and it's good,
Yeah.
that can drive more sales.
Yeah.
But if you do it later, but if your game's bad and gets bad reviews earlier, people might not want to buy it, or they'll cancel the pre-order kind of thing like that.
Totally.
Like with Callisto, I feel like when the embargo hit, everyone was talking about it already, immediately.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, man, this game's getting low. The expectation was already set.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them already bought it.
True, yeah.
Or we're just like, whatever, I'm just going to buy it anyways. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, like, to figure out. And, like, clearly, devs and publishers are still working on that too to figure it out because it's not always like an easy thing to figure out, I guess.
Totally.
But like, you know, some games they're just really confident in their game. The embargo's like out weeks early or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we got nothing to hide kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
that. So,
Make a statement.
like I said, don't pre-order games if you don't
honestly,
know.
that's the lesson. That is the lesson. Just don't do that. Just
Unless
don't
you're
pre-order.
like super into
Yeah.
it, you know, or like, or there's some really physical edition you like really like what's in it or
Wait
something
a
like
few
that.
days.
that
Just a
is
few
the-
days. It's like I see every opening movie on a Monday, man. Just wait a couple days.
Like, I know you want to be part of the conversation and stuff, and I think that's cool, but it's like, if you're very cautious, like you're like worried about something, if you don't know, just wait a little bit. I'd recommend.
Yeah. It is weird because it's like you feel like a lot of the times like the people that are going to read the reviews are often the people that are going to buy it no matter what.
Yeah, true. That's
Unless
true,
it
Blake.
like really like changes expectations.
Yeah. Which I saw though, you know, with Callisto, people were like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to play
absolutely.
this.
Like
Yeah.
the narrative on that game changed dramatically with the, you know,
Absolutely it did.
issues of day one. But yeah, I think definitely earlier than that is better. And like most, I feel like most are like the day before
Yeah,
or
most
a couple
are.
of days before.
Most are, yeah. So you get a heads up.
But it's also weird because a lot of times it doesn't feel like there's any reason. Like a lot of times it will be day of
look at-
and the game's great.
Freaking Crisis Core. Look how early that is. Jeez, game's not out for a week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, like, I think at Callisto, maybe they were still working on technical stuff on the back end, like you said, the patch
Yeah.
or whatever they had during the review process. Maybe
Yeah.
they're just trying to squeeze more time into that whole thing. I don't know.
I definitely think that they just like they weren't ready
Yeah.
for those reviews to be out yet.
Yeah.
So
All right. This next one is from Son of Sparta. Hello, allies. I hope you're having a great day.
Sparta with like Devil May Cry, right?
Yeah, it sounds like
D,
it.
Yep.
Yep.
Son of Sparta.
Yep.
Virgil and Dante.
I just wanted to bring up Devil May Cry. I knew that already.
Yeah, you did. You knew it. You played them. Release gap between sequels and the expectations of each player based on that has always been a fascinating thing to me. Personally, when a sequel takes longer to come out, I expect more from it. Vice versa, when we have a series where we get new games every year, I'm content with it not changing much because we are getting a lot of content in a short time. But I've seen people who are the exact opposite. For example, some people criticize Yakuza for always being the same, whereas they'd say they would be more than happy with if they just got more Persona without any big changes or improvements, since it takes so long for us to get a new Persona game. While I don't agree with this sentiment, I can see where these people are coming from as well. So I was wondering, does release gap affect your expectations for a sequel? If so, which side do you guys fall into? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if I'm getting one every year, every other year,
I don't
like,
expect it to change as much because the dev cycle.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed is my warm blanket game. You know, I don't
You're
expect.
not even getting that once a year now, though.
Yeah, every other year, like it's
Not even. Valhalla came out in 2020.
Yeah, shit, Mirage 2023.
I mean, they're still doing content for it, but it's like,
historically speaking,
and
Yeah.
it's like a very weird thing, especially when you compare everything to Call of Duty, which is like a yearly thing, but there's like three
my
or
comfort.
4 teams doing that, and they each get like 3 or something so years for development.
yeah, they're my comfort games, and I don't expect. I go in every time, kind of
Yeah.
just I know what to expect.
But
I've been
you know
doing
what
this so long.
a prime example of me expecting more is Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
Oh my
For
god,
when they
yeah.
announced that game
Maximum.
to where it
God
is
of War
now,
Ragnarok,
I
maximum.
I expect a lot more now that you're
Way more.
taking so long. Like I know the whole
Better be a 10.
COVID thing and all like that, big threw a wrench in everything. But I just do expect more when you take so long.
You're coming off the back of one of the greatest games ever made, critically and commercially.
It's like
This
with
long, high expectations.
with Starfield. I expect good things from that.
I expect nothing.
Well,
My expectations are in check.
think-
I'm hyped,
yeah.
but my expectations.
but I think I expect big things from them. Because it's like a big, well-known company for their RPGs, so I expect them to deliver. Don't know if they will, but that's what I expect, and I think it's fair to expect that from them.
Sure.
What do you think, Blood?
Sure.
Yeah, I've pretty much the same. That the longer that you have between games, like you you don't get that many opportunities.
Yeah.
So you really want that to be really solid, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's like, you know, Bayonetta 3, you know, like that's one of those situations where like people kept waiting, and it finally
Bayonetta
came
2,
out.
10 out of 10.
You know, and then it's like, yeah, Bayonetta 3 didn't quite hit the same marks.
Right.
You know, maybe if it's just a story thing, maybe it's a performance thing, you know, whatever it might be, but it's just like, man, like, you know, it's going to be a long time before they get another shot, you know,
Yeah.
before a Bayonetta 4, even though they're talking about it right now. But it's like, yeah, that game is 5 or 6 years away, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At least.
At least. Yeah, when Persona 6 ever comes out, dude, you better blow me the fuck away. Seriously, dude.
Yeah, when you have a game once in a while, my expectations are a lot higher for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But yeah, if you're coming out pretty often, you know,
Yeah.
I know what to expect. But I guess, I don't know, like Resident Evil comes out like every year, pretty much, feels like. And my expectations are always really high, even though they're coming out every year. You know, and I just think, I mean, maybe that's just a special case. You know, it's Resident
Maybe.
Evil.
I think everyone has those special cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still high enough quality, especially after 6, that you know,
He's right.
that it's like, yeah, you still expect the things out of that franchise that you do for these ones that take 5 years in between. Like, you really want every single Resident Evil to be something special, to be something memorable. When they just spin out Resident Evil 3, as much as you like it, there's disappointments there.
I love it.
You know?
We have to agree there's a global consensus that was disappointing for a lot of people.
It's turning the other way. I follow the Resident Evil community deeply. It's finally turning the other way.
I don't think it's going to turn as much as you want, though.
No.
Like, it will never be as praised as Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is from Shifty Chicken. Hey, allies. I was wondering about your philosophy on game difficulty when it comes to reviewing games. My thought process has always been that normal or whatever the default setting has been was the best balance and intended difficulty in the eyes of the devs. I also know that Huber and Brad often like to crank up difficulty when playing a game. Like Huber's post on Twitter about playing God of War Ragnarok on Give Me God of War. Sorry if I'm misquoting. No, I think you did. You talked about that you reviewed it on that difficulty.
Yep.
When reviewing, do you tend to give the various difficulties a fair shake, or do you choose the setting you want to review of that? Or that you want to review off that? I'm all for everyone selecting the difficulty that is right for them, but I wonder about the potential of reviewing a game when the higher difficulties aren't properly balanced, and turning the difficulty up just makes enemies bullet sponges, and how they could influence a review. Love and respect, Shifty Chicken. Keep it up. Keep it up, being easy allies.
You gotta just know yourself.
I was gonna say
you gotta know yourself.
So when I speak for you and me, we can smell balance, like the tuning of a difficulty often.
Yeah. Gotham Knights.
I was gonna say Gotham Knights is a great example of this.
Trash difficulty
played it on
settings.
hard, but it was
no point.
Bad bullet sponge kind of thing. It was not
Just
a good
boring.
difficulty.
Yeah. Great, dude. Yes.
But when I think about when you played The Last of Us Part 1, you played it on grounding, because you're a vet of the series, you know.
Yeah.
That's definitely not the normal thing, but I think you did you bring up that you played on that difficulty in your review? I'm not sure. Whatever.
Maybe not.
But I think it comes down to with at least
all my footage was,
we can smell it. You have so much experience with The Last of Us, though, you know what to expect from it already.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's been an instance. Like, sometimes I do play on normal if I feel like it, you know?
Yeah.
Just to test it out. Maybe if I'm not familiar with the game type or something like that.
Does Sonic have difficulties?
Yeah.
Normal. I'm playing Sonic on normal.
Yeah, I played some of Sonic on hard for a while, then I did some of the boss fights. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, then they have those other weird options too.
Yeah, there's a lot of options like that. There's just a lot to go for. But yeah, I think it's just like you kind of know when you're playing through the game. Like you play through these games, and often you can change it throughout the difficulty.
Yeah. You really got to know yourself because
you have to know yourself.
I'm going to sound like an asshole, but it's like I've been playing games for 30 years, you know, and I like I like the challenge of games, and especially if it's a survival horror like Resident Evil or Last of Us or something. It's like not only have I been playing games for 30 years, but it's like I'm experienced in this genre or this franchise on top of playing games for 30 years. And I think normal is traditionally designed for mass appeal. Like, okay, make sure that like on the default setting of a game, everyone can get through it. Tune it in a way to be accessible to the most possible people. And it's like, it's just experience. Like I have more experience than
experience is
a lot of people.
For sure.
So that's why I usually crank it up, because normal usually for me, 95% of games when I'm playing on normal, I can just like zone out.
Yeah. I
And
think that is all true. But I think what is also important, I think what we do is we can understand where like the majority of people would be coming from also from this perspective.
Yeah, you got to find the
Like,
one for you. Got to find the one for you.
When I reviewed Elden Ring, I beat that game way faster than most people. Way faster. I don't feel like I rushed anything or skipped anything. I pretty much did everything I found.
Yeah.
And I beat that game like less than half the time than most people were doing it.
Damn.
But it's like I still understood like this is a challenging thing for the majority of people out there.
Yeah.
But from my perspective where I'm at, like I was able to get through it faster because I know these games, dude.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to play
experience.
these games. It's
It's all
experience. But I think if you can like somehow address and get away, communicate the part of what the difficulty will be like for other people also is
Yeah.
a valid thing.
Totally.
Like, what do you think, Blood?
Yeah, it's tricky because it's like on the one hand, like I don't think I've ever tried to tell anyone what to review a game on.
No, you never have.
Play how you want to play.
But like what they're saying is like for me, like exactly that. Like the reason I tend to gravitate towards normal most of the time is because I think normal should have a level of challenge. I think that like if you're not giving me a satisfying experience on normal, like that's a little bit of a knock. If I have to bump it up, like that doesn't like to me like bumping it up should be like sort of like like this is the next level thing that I want to do beyond just playing the game. But yeah, so it's just really interesting, like, to have you guys just like, you're just like straight into the hardest thing possible, like first run.
Heck yeah, let's go. Yeah, I got my limitations too. Like, I don't do the one-hit kill mode in Evil Within or like.
I mean that's like a whole other total crazy thing. Yeah.
Well, it's like let's say for example, I reviewed let's say if I was gonna do the review for Midnight Suns, Blood, I would start on normal. Because I'm not as familiar with those types of games.
Great example.
And I would just feel it out.
Great example.
Yeah.
But then if I was excelling at it or whatever, I could get an idea of
Right.
the
And that's
difficulty.
something that like
Persona 5, dude. Play on like normal or easy for me. I play JRPGs. I've played a bunch in my life, but like I don't have as much experience in that genre as I do other genres. So like, if I play Xenoblade 3 or whatever, I'll just play on normal, keep it chill.
Keep it chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what's weird when you get into like difficulty with like racing game stuff.
Yeah.
And like I usually will just let's start off with like whatever you're giving me, and then, Forza usually does a good job of like, hey, looks like you're winning a lot. You want to bump it up? You want to bump it up? You want to bump it up?
Yeah.
And eventually you realize like if you go back to that game like 3 months later, it's like, oh, I bumped this up too much, didn't I?
Yeah,
but
sure.
you're when you're in that moment.
Yeah, when you're in the zone, you're
used
there.
to it.
Yep.
And then those games, GT and Forza in particular, like they also have all of these other layers of things going on in terms of, realism and assists and like, do you use the driving line or do you put the thing on the corners or do you do both? Or what's going to make the most sense for you? And like judging the difficulty based on more of, like what are the goals for, this race? What is the AI like in this? And with Gran Turismo, it's just this weird thing of like eventually you realize that like, oh, I'm not really racing other drivers. I'm racing a time, and the drivers are an obstacle for me to get around that time.
Yeah. Like I always bring up Dragon Quest 11 because it's like I love that franchise deeply, intimately, and like Dragon Quest 8 to me is one of like my favorite balanced games. How hard it is, like sometimes. So for 11, you put the draconic modifiers on, like sometimes, case to case basis. So
Yep.
it all depends.
Yep.
Like Xenoblade, dude, playing that on chill mode.
All right. This final question is from Beaten Down Brian. Hey, gang. Back when the Allies streamed Dino Crisis, Hero made a throwaway comment about how people don't want Dino Crisis, they want Resident Evil with dinosaurs. Although I kind of think he's right, it's been gnawing at me because I really believe the first game had its own ideas and could stand on its own merits. If RE1 is the pinnacle of PS1 survival horror, Dino Crisis 1 is nipping at its heels for me. To this day, the most scared a game has ever made me wasn't from a jump scare or a cutscene. It was shortly after I got the shotgun in Dino Crisis. I was finally able to fight back against what have been such daunting enemies, but then I entered a room with 2 raptors, and I tried to take one down. It knocked my shotgun out of my freaking hands and across the room. I forgot that happens. That's cool.
Pick up your gun.
We still don't see stuff like that in games today. And could you imagine that happening with Mr. X and RE2 Remake? It would have been the most talked about moment of the year. At this point, I'd certainly take RE with dinos. What I really want is Dino Crisis Reboot, though.
I don't mean literally Resident Evil with dinosaurs. I don't mean literally. I mean that people haven't, not everyone's gone through Dino Crisis. They just see, it's like Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think that's the general idea.
That is what I mean. I don't literally mean put dinosaurs in Resident Evil, and I already kind of did that.
No, I don't think they mean that, but I think they mean maybe like the pace and like taking down an enemy or like how many enemies you can take down, Yeah. And to try to shape this rant into a question, what dormant IP makes you the most frustrated due to its potential? Sorry, Brad, but thanks for taking this. If you do, I need to get that out. With respect.
F-Zero.
Always a great
F-Zero
pick.
Bloodworth. It has so much potential, dude. God.
Dark Cloud.
Dark Cloud.
I feel like Dark Cloud, especially nowadays with like the building you could do of your towns and stuff like that, and the dungeons, you could just make them so much more interesting to go through. Actually, now I'm just like,
I will say Ni no Kuni 2 town building dragged.
No, but it's not going to be the same though as Ni no Kuni. Ni no Kuni was like send your minions to do like the work.
Yeah.
I feel like more mobile-esque than like.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember, Ni no Kuni you had to put stuff in certain areas, right? Yeah. Dark Cloud felt like a little more free to me.
Totally.
But
Dark Cloud 2, baby.
Yeah, cool game.
Well, one thing they're talking about with knocking guns, like out of your hands, but like, I feel like we don't get enough games where you just like knock a gun out of somebody else's hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot out of their hand.
CQC, dude. Let me disarm them.
Can you do that in GoldenEye? I'm trying to remember.
I feel like you can.
Great
Do
question.
something like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
can't
not.
remember.
I kind of
Like,
see
if
the bullet
not,
holes in the gun.
But there's something around that era.
Some of the Metal Gears you could do that, right? Am I thinking of that correctly? Maybe not. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've played a lot of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a long lost thing out of left field. I mean, we get a lot of Sims nowadays, but we haven't had a proper sequel to Sim Ant.
Another Sim.
It'd
Wow.
be fun to get
Sim
Sim
Ant.
Ant
What a
back
pull.
in there.
Wow, blood. Yo, samurais, they never went away, but they kind of did. Onimusha, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
nowadays, especially with
Onimusha,
Capcom.
Yeah.
I feel like if
come
Capcom just
on.
brings back a lot of IPs now.
Right?
Because they're in such like a different place.
Yeah. Yeah. And remaster came and went.
Yeah. It's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
I bought it. I did my
Yeah,
part.
we did our
I beat
part.
it.
We did our part, dude.
I did
a
my
shame.
part. Damn. I blame you. Don, are you listening?
Don's
I don't know if
long
Don's even
gone.
here.
Long
I'm not sure
gone.
who's even here. Whatever. I just like yelling at Don.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Frame Trap. Thank you, Michael and Bloodworth, for filling in. Appreciate it as always. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. Once again, check out patreon.com/easyallies. If you'd support us, that'd be excellent. We'd greatly appreciate it. And okay, until next episode, we'll see y'all next time. Take care.
So yeah.